Hello, everyone, and welcome to SmashBoxxTV podcast 609.
I think that our very first message on the board says it best. What a tourney.
Yeah. Unreal.
Amazing. Amazing.
I understand. Let me get it out of the way, and we can talk to Calvin when he joins us. So let me put this out there right now. Calvin is, in fact, playing a skins match right now that started a couple hours ago. He's on the West Coast. He very graciously said immediately on Sunday night that he would be excited with all of the Calvin excitement you can muster up.
I bet.
He said he'd be excited to join, and then he texted me today and said, hey, of course, still on for tonight, but I forgot I have a skins match that we're doing, and can I join right after? And I said, take your time. Whenever you get to us, we appreciate you joining us. So he's in the midst of a skins match. So he's going to show up just at some point. He will pop up into our digital green room, so to speak, and then we will welcome him into the show at that point. Now, I don't know if that's in 5 minutes or in 45 minutes, but at some point, he definitely will be joining us. Okay. I understand that some want to argue and say it's less clutch when
God, this dumb question.
When he let the lead slip. Because if you think about it, he had his worst round of the weekend.
Sure.
And arguably played
I don't care.
his worst to even put him in a position. One could say, hey, you lost a 5-stroke lead.
Sure.
Yes, you made some really phenomenal putts, clearly, down the stretch.
Clutch putts.
Clutch, but that's the point is, should he be in that position in the first place?
Listen, it's Gannon Burr, and I know you and Philo talked about how you didn't think a 10 or an 11 would get Gannon to the point where he would have an opportunity to win, because it was just assumed Vinny would probably shoot an 8 or better.
You would think.
Yeah, and that puts Gannon more or less out of reach.
Yeah,
but
13, needing at least a 13.
Sure.
Arguably a 14 or better, which now you're talking,
course records kind of thing. Yeah. I don't care what anyone says. When you are put in that position that he was put in on hole 16, whether, he had some bad breaks, whether Gannon was lighting the course up, and Gannon was playing well. I wouldn't say he was lights out, but he was playing well, and Vinny was not playing as well. It doesn't matter to me. 16, 17, 18, 3 clutch putts in a row. Just in 16 and 17 didn't look as windy as 18 did, because 18's kind of exposed. Now maybe it was, and it was a little harder to tell on camera. But that putt on 16, that 60-footer or whatever it was, 55, 65, whatever, uphill, amazing. Hole 17, I mean, a good putt. 30 foot. On 17?
He was just outside of the circle.
Okay, so 35
he was at
feet.
like 30, 35, 38, 39 feet.
Yeah, and then 18, where he's on the edge of the circle as well.
Right, yeah, just a step or two outside of the circle.
With looking right at the water.
Right.
I thought it was...
And the water's insignificant at that point, but yes,
exactly.
It's still there, and you're still...
Yeah, you don't... the water, you're right, the water doesn't matter.
In that particular case, in this final round, in this shot, yes,
yeah,
it's
you're not worried about losing that stroke at that point.
Right.
It was, shout out to the DGN crew. I turned to my wife, who was actually, normally, when DGN comes on, that she calls that the nap channel. So,
fair.
But this...
Disc golf nap.
This was actually kind of relatively exciting, and she was kind of watching. And I think maybe it helps that she's met Vinny one time when he stayed here at the house.
Sure.
But there was a shot with Calvin's back, looking at the basket, with the people all behind. And I turned to my wife and said, that's a phenomenal looking shot.
Right.
Like just the camera work, just to put the perspective on what exactly was happening. I don't care if Vinny came back from 10, or he was down 10 and came back, or he was up 10 and lost. Those 3 putts are clutch. That was a clutch performance, because you have to hit them. You have to hit every single one of them, and he clutched up every time. So I'm going to keep saying the word clutch, and like I'm driving a manual car.
I'm not opposed to the idea that those putts themselves weren't clutch. I agree that they were. I think part of the argument is, hey, he shouldn't have had his back up against the wall so much.
Sure,
He should. He coming in with a 5-stroke lead. You would think by the time you get to 18, you'd be able to toss one or two under the basket and be able to just walk it in. And clearly, he did not do that.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that Gannon shouldn't have been down that many going into the final round by shooting 2 sevens the first and second round, which again aren't bad scores. Clearly, they're good enough scores to keep you in contention, but it doesn't. I'm not. There's not even.
That's crazy. Gannon had 2 sevens.
Yeah,
what he had.
Round 1, a 7. Round 2, a 7.
Wow.
Then a 13.
Yeah, almost doubling his
and then
total.
a 10.
Yeah, and I think about Calvin, who went 13, 8, 10,
11,
or 11. Okay,
5.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
Yeah. It's should he have been in that position? That's not. There's so many arguments you can make for or against. He had a 4 or 5-stroke lead going into it. 5-stroke lead going into it.
He was about to meme himself because he would have been put on the list as blowing the largest lead
final
in
round
DGPT history. Nobody wants to be put on that list.
No, nobody wants that
he
list.
Almost was.
Yeah. No, that's
so.
I'm glad he didn't put himself on that list, but it's
at the end of the day, what we got was
great golf,
pure entertainment, and obviously some great golf. And if it's not, there's plenty of Vinny fans as it is. Obviously, talk about the idea of a newfound excitement of rooting for him. Some of the times when maybe you feel like he's let you down or he's cracked under some of the pressure. And this time, this reinvigorates, I think, all of his fan base to be like, no, he clutched up in the 3 most crucial moments. And I feel bad that we have to say all this and then we're going to still have him and then rehash it. Maybe not. It's not a bad thing, but to me, clearly, and I should have started the whole podcast by saying, I do apologize if I blew out anyone's ears this weekend.
No,
I'm sure there's some kind of limiter on it as to.
I don't care, honestly.
But
that's.
I never want to do that. It is of course 100% genuine excitement from me. I actually saw. I know it's Reddit. I actually saw someone make a post or a comment about manufactured drama or excitement, and I thought, are you kidding? Like,
there's nothing manufactured about that.
Like, first of all, I have no reason to manufacture anything because if I'm not enjoying it or it's not genuine, like I just wouldn't be there. I am there because I want to be there, for starters. But second of all, the excitement that comes through by watching this good golf, and I even reflected for a moment, and I'm sure there's somebody out there who's really maybe even getting really nitpicky and saying, well, it was clear that you were pulling for one guy or another, or maybe in this case Vinny versus Gannon. Not the case. I was pulling for the most phenomenal shots, and you
got them.
Those were in fact the clutch ones primarily. The most dramatic ones were, in fact, coming from Vinny.
Except for those drives on 18. But other than that, they both turned it over. Now, let me say regarding your excitement, and I want to preface this by saying I like Nate Perkins, but Nate isn't as used to the booth as you. And I feel when things get a little excited, the one downfall, or the one thing that kind of about Nate that I think he can work on is he sounds more surprised than excited sometimes. Like when a great shot happens, it doesn't, I'm sure he is excited, but it comes out more as like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. That's crazy. As opposed to like celebrating it versus like questioning excitement. And again, maybe it's just me that gets that. I would love to see more excitement come out of Perk. I think he has so much room to grow, and he does a lot of things really well. But I did notice that on some really fun and exciting shots, he was in more disbelief, like, wow, what did I just see? Versus more excitement. And I'd like to see more excitement come out of Perk. But for your call, I felt it matched the tone of the golf. That's how I felt it went. And if my speakers on my TV upstairs are still fine, so it wasn't that bad.
Well, it was as you're saying though, it was unbelievable, but it was also just so incredibly exciting, and so specifically, I point to that putt on 16. He had already struggled tremendously on the hole, and then you put him at 62 feet, slightly uphill. That is not a Calvin putt. That is a Ricky Wysocki putt.
Yeah.
That is a Gannon Burr putt. 62 feet, slightly uphill, is out of Calvin's, I'm not going to say comfort range, but you'd lose a lot of money if you bet on him making 62 footers. He just does not, his style does not generate that kind of response, so to speak.
He has like that
that's
60.
Why it was that much more exciting.
That 60-footer, you can tell, he had to flex it. There was an Anheuser in his putt that a lot of times you see Vinny. It's a much more straight at it flat putt from anything 45 and in. But when he gets outside of 45, I feel like he needs to, helix it, as they used to say. He used to flex it a little bit, and that's a tougher putt. Gannon doesn't need to do that quite as much. Gannon has so much power and that he generates that you don't see that until he gets to like 80 or 90 feet. So that's, I think, why Vinny maybe doesn't hit those nearly as well or nearly as much. But
I just think it's his overall style of release.
Of course,
more pendulum putt.
Yep.
That
it's harder to put power on it.
He looked obviously perfectly comfortable with the 39-footer uphill on 17. Mm-hmm. That looks perfectly fine and perfectly normal. And obviously the one on 18 was even closer. Those all day. But I think like outside of the 55-foot range, that 55 to 75-foot range, I just think his number, understandably for a lot of people, it decreases, but I think his does even more so. Yeah. Whereas you put Gannon at 62 or 72 or 78 or 59, and you're like, all of those could go in. You're just expecting them to be solid bids. I think that's what led to so much specifically to so much excitement, which is really funny because if you rewind a few hours earlier, Silva hit from a very similar spot.
I missed
on that very hole. She hit from a very similar spot on 16, just to kind of keep things alive or keep her chances alive. And I thought that was just really funny. She was just a step or two inside the tree. She was right around 60 feet as well. It might have been a couple of steps closer, but not by much.
Sure.
So I don't know. It was clearly incredible to see, and just the way that the golf continued to play out. I don't know how you're not glued to your TV yelling, and whether it's for Gannon or for Calvin, I don't know how you're not yelling at your TV.
I was
with excitement.
I was, and my wife was a little upset because, like I said, normally she naps during DGN, but at one point I was quiet and I leaned over and I looked to see if she was sleeping, and her eyes were open watching the TV, and I'm like, "Are you trying to nap?" She's like, "Yeah, I can't nap when you're watching this right now."
Yeah, and she hears me.
I know. That normally puts her right to sleep.
Wait a minute.
And I think somebody kind of nailed Gannon Burr, a comment that I saw. There's a few people, and I think it drives greatness. Paul and Ricky, I would put this in that same camp, that Gannon hates to lose as much as he likes to win. And there are some players, like, I'll just go with Gavin Babcock. I'm sure Gavin Babcock doesn't like to lose.
Of course not.
But it feels like Gannon Burr has that gear of not losing. Like, no, I'm not going to. I hate this feeling.
Right.
And you could see it in his interview. You could see it. I mean, he super professional, gave Calvin his props, all that stuff. He always is. But you can feel it from Gannon, how he just hates losing maybe more than he likes winning. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to call, and I believe that does drive greatness because I saw it in Paul. You saw it in Ricky for many years. When there's players when they're in that position, they just they excel, and that's Gannon. No one ever felt that he was out of it, even after 2 sevens. He was still hovering in the top 10, and you're like, anything could happen. Gannon could come out here and shoot a 14, a 15, and he was right back in it. And he came out and shot a 13, and he was right back in it. Yeah. Just he doesn't give up ever. There's never a chance. There's so very rarely a time when I look at the leaderboard and Gannon's not on it on the final round. And there's even less times that I look at it and I think he can't win this.
Yeah, he put up a solid fight and did exactly what he needed to do. And he talked about it in the interview the previous day on Saturday, said he needs to come out, strong, and he did pretty much that. A little slow on the first couple holes, but then, rattling them together and putting 5 together in a row. Yep. I mean, that's all he could ask for at that point, is to be able to apply a little bit of that pressure. So really cool to see. Why don't we jump over while we kind of wait, and maybe if we wait just the right amount of time.
Well, we can go through the rest of the MPO if you want, and then we'll talk about FPO.
Go for it.
Third place tied was Gavin Babcock and Adam Hammes. We almost saw the Gavin Babcock, comeback smack on you, Lee, from the previous week, which would have been great. So great showing by Gavin. Adam Hammes as well, third place. In fifth place, Anthony Barella, a course that I think suits him pretty well. You have to assume he's going to be a top 10 out here. It's much like Calvin. He's a power thrower where he can line drive those lower drives that get him beneath the trees. So Zach Nash in fifth place, a name that we've been seeing a little bit more frequently over the last few weeks. So keep him on your radar. He only shot a 2 down that final round. Dropped only 1 place with that, surprisingly.
Yeah, which is crazy.
But that's lunatic. In seventh place, Ezra Robinson. Eighth place, Isaac Robinson. Now it's funny because there was an interview, and I believe it was maybe it was Holcomb, or maybe it was one of the announcers that called, this is back-to-back wins for Vinny here, because they're not counting Champions Cup, which Isaac won last year. And because I even said, I was like, no, Calvin didn't win here last year. And I told that to my kid, and my kid's like, no, Dad, I heard the interview. They said back-to-back. I'm like, that can't be right. And then it blanked in my head that last year was Champions Cup, which is why,
let me quickly address that. When the producer's narrative fits that it's considered back-to-back, we call it back-to-back and refer to it as basically being back-to-back.
Yeah.
Like if Isaac was in the mix, we would essentially, I think, been phrasing it as more of a back-to-back, style. But when he's not, and Vinny's in the mix, then
it's still back-to-back, but you skip.
It's exactly. So, that, and I'm not faulting or throwing our producer Mo under the bus for that. I think there's probably, of course, we have a lot of unique scenarios.
It goes storyline.
I think that's one of those scenarios where we do have the luxury of kind of picking and choosing.
You're bending the truth a bit.
Angle. Yeah. Because technically, of course, last year it was a PDGA major.
It wasn't the OTB.
It was the Champions Cup. So, and that's going to continue to happen. Just spoiler alert now. That's going to continue to happen when we're at, we'll use the example, when we're at Smuggler's Notch and there's a World Championships there. And then we're there 1 year, we're there we'll just say, 2017 we're there at Smuggler's Notch, and 2019 we're at Smuggler's Notch, but 2018 is Worlds. You kind of treat it that way. We're going to do the same thing in Portland next year when we're not going to have the world. We'll have the World Championships there.
And then Bedford, and then Estonia or whatever.
And even thinking about Ledgestone. And Ledgestone, when we had Champions Cup at Ledgestone, it kind of felt like, was it Champions Cup or was it Ledgestone? So on and so forth. So that's a little pull back the curtain and share that much for sure.
Tied with Isaac Robinson in 8th place was Andrew Marweed, and rounding out your top 10, Parker Welk. And Parker had a good showing this weekend. He was on the lead card, second round, I believe it was. Right. And, wow, gosh, what did he shoot that second round?
And third round.
Yeah, second and third round. Third round,
everyone
he
on
tanked.
lead card second round, remained for third, which is a pretty impressive feat. Because usually you see one or two, and then somebody else will make their charge. But in this case, they all played really solid golf.
Sure.
So it was that was definitely an anomaly. Not kind of, it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to stay in the top 10, because Parker shot over par on that third round. So a way to fight back by getting to 3 under par on that final round. So those, it's, some days you have it, some days you don't. So congratulations to the top 10 in MPO. We'll go over to the FPO side. Less of an exciting battle. Holyn Handley wins by 4 strokes. She had, there really wasn't a time that she didn't have this under control. I think I watched about 90% of it. I never really felt in that final round that Silva could catch her. It just, every time there was a stroke given, it was like, oh, she got it back. Okay. All right, well, whatever. I know after the first 3 holes when, she picks up 2 strokes on her on holes 2 and 3, and then it just kind of felt like, all right. And then Holyn, there's just too many opportunities out here for Holyn. So ultimately, Holyn Handley wins this. She shoots a 10-21 rated final round. Silva Saarinen shoots 7 down the final round, losing by 4 strokes to Holyn. In third place, Owen Scoggins, 20 under par total. Fourth place, Ella Hansen. This place is very much a course that Ella feels comfortable at. Mm-hmm. Because Ella hasn't been playing extremely well this year. But I think I called it a few weeks ago with somebody saying, someone's like, man, we were talking about fantasy, and someone's like, man, when's Ella going to show up? I drafted her on my team. I said, oh, wait for OTB. She'll play well at OTB. She always does. And sure enough, we come to OTB, and she was, right there in the lead after round 1. Holyn was on her tail. Unfortunately, Ella had a bad second round, fell out of it, and then Holyn took it and never really looked back. But
and one thing that I can say in talking to a few of the players, there's something to be said about your winning ways and longevity and experience. And it's no disrespect to Ella, but she hasn't been there as many times. So when you look at the consistency, when you look at someone who's used to either being out in front and or then, trying to carry it to the finish, and maybe this is a little bit of chasing your own tail or self-perpetuating, you got to get into that spot. You got to overcome it. And then you have that experience. And Ella doesn't have as many of those reps yet. Obviously, she's busted out some great rounds. Obviously, she's been in the lead at tournaments and very much in contention. I'm not saying she hasn't been. However, it's just more and more of those reps at being in that position. And I think if you were a betting man after Thursday afternoon or Thursday's opening round and you saw those scores, you look at who are the regulars, and then you look at, okay, someone who hasn't been there as much, and she has, another chance to prove herself. And she still ended up having a great weekend, finishing in 4th, but not able to, come back with anywhere near what she had in day 1.
Correct. It was ultimately her putting that kind of let her down. I'm looking at the stats here, and she was 80% C1X putting. I'm sorry, 60% C1X putting.
Ouch.
And that's 26 for 43, while Holyn Handley was 36 for 43. So right there, that just shows you, there's 10 strokes that Holyn had just in C1X putting over Ella. And, it just, you have to hit the putts here. If you're going to give yourself the opportunity, you have to hit them, because she led the field in C1 in regulation and parked. Ella did. And she just couldn't get it done on the green. She had a great first day on the green, and it showed in her score. And then that second day, it was gone. Just unfortunate. She needs to kind of figure out, she's got to figure out her putt overall. And then I think you'll start to see her at the top of the leaderboard way more frequently. 5th place, Canadian, Rebecca Don, shooting 14 under par.
And how impressive. Again, obviously one of our young superstars, rookie of the year, all of that. It's not like she's new or anything like that. But to see her come out and over a 4-round event, take advantage. It was interesting to talk to her before one of the rounds. It was just her and I in that warm up lounge area, whatever. And she was just telling me how comfortable she was. She thought her drivers were good. Her fairways were doing all the work for her. She said she felt nervous at points where she'd step up to a putt and then like would essentially airball it or something. And she's like, I don't know why. I don't know what happens. And then I turn around and make, all the, the next putts. So the fact that she's got short-term memory to be able to erase the negative outcome is great, but clearly so much game ahead for her.
Yeah, she's still very young and raw, so I see good things for her future. 6th place, Missy Gannon. Missy starting to creep up the leaderboard week after week. She hasn't been able to completely dial it in yet. She's known for her late season heroics, but it is starting to get a little late in the season for her not to have more podium finishes. I'll say that.
How she doesn't, we talk about the parity that's out there, and the fact that she doesn't have a win is almost no. What do you mean? She's
the field is so good.
Yeah, but she's arguably first or second best in the field, and she's yet to even finish on the podium.
No, I know.
Win.
I agree. I'm shocked she hasn't finished on the podium. 100%.
I'm shocked she has not won. And that's a compliment.
I agreed. I'm not shocked she hasn't won, just again because the competition level is so good with our FPO that Owen Scoggins and Holland Hanley and Silva Sarnen and Henna Blumroos now, and it's tougher to get a win in FPO than it used to be.
I get it, but
so I'm not shocked. I am shocked she hasn't been on the podium. So. Yeah. But Missy Gannon in 6th place. I think she's gonna start to kind of work her way up. I bet you she doesn't go 2 more events without a podium. 7th place, Taylor Chosick had a phenomenal final round going until the last 3 holes, getting an ace on hole 9 and following it up with a birdie as well, which is always impressive because there's sometimes you get those ace jitters and the excitement is right there. But she was on pace for a phenomenal round, and then unfortunately went double, single, double to end, which took away 5 of her strokes, where she would have been
closer to
She would have been in 5th place. She would have beat up Rebecca.
She didn't fall too far, and in fact fall back. Even though she moved up 4 spots, there's a potential, she finishes, we'll just say 3 pars, and she moves up into 5th instead of 7th. Yep. Impressive regardless, but thankfully that brutal finish didn't cost her like 10 more spots or something silly. So, but what a round to have the ace on hole 9, and like you said, follow back up with a birdie on the 10th.
Tied with Taylor at 7th was Heidi Laine. She just again, another final round that just didn't go her way. Started out okay and then just couldn't get anything going after that. 9th place, Emily Weatherman. 10th place, Anniken Sten. So that is your top 10 for FPL. I want to mention 11 though. Teresa Cuevas.
Nope.
Therese?
Therese.
I
talked to her mother.
Okay.
Right after the round, and I said,
Therese.
because I don't remember if I interviewed
Therese Cuevas
or if I just talked to her, but I said, we all just want to get it right. We want to get it right in the booth. I want to know. We all want to make sure we get it right. And the funny part is I've seen her at a number of other events. She kind of rolls with a handful of other women that are about her age. And I've seen her at Am Worlds. I've seen her at other events and have watched her take home titles.
Wasn't she our Am Worlds winner?
Yeah. But we hadn't.
We talked about her.
And she was like runner-up the year before or something.
Yep.
So, but I hadn't done an interview with her, and then it was so funny because her mom says
her mom was there.
Yeah, her mom was there.
You didn't call her mom or something?
No, her mom was there.
Your mom's number
right after hole 18, and I said, we just want to get it right. How to pronounce? She goes, it's Perez. And I said, okay, thank you. And she goes, yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm like, don't be sorry. She goes, well, we didn't know she'd be like a superstar or something.
Or we'd have named her Anne.
Yeah, Jill. So. And I believe her sister's in the field, Athena.
She is.
Athena Cuevas. But yes, Therese is her name.
But just another young thrower. She was on.
She might be I think she's 16 or 17.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. In the same breath that we were talking about, your Addison Woodards and a couple other players.
Right.
We're going to see more of her. There's no question in my mind. I don't know what her gonna real look and see what events she has coming up. Okay, so she's playing the Cascade this weekend, and then the Northwest Championship, then U.S. Women's and World Championships. So, all right, so we're gonna see her at a couple of the next big events, but it doesn't look like she's gonna hit the rest of the DGBT tour. That's not on the West Coast,
and I was
unless it's not up to date.
Well, or I was just gonna say, she probably only has a certain amount of events she's qualified to be in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, or she may or may not just be getting done with school. Is the thought that came to my mind. Is like the school year just getting out. So,
I think it's a real possibility, Terry.
Yes, I think that's definitely part.
Don't
of it.
skip prom.
Right.
All right. So that's your top 11, we'll say.
Yeah, congrats to them. And normally, I mean, we only get into so much personal life, but yes, Glenn, I think it's fair enough because of her clout and because of the uniqueness of her being on the road and on the tour. I was informed that the gentleman that was accompanying one Silva Sarnin is in fact
her boyfriend. Yes.
I don't know if that
he wasn't on the bag the final round though, was he? Was it somebody else? Was it him?
It was.
Was it
him?
I know he was on earlier, but for some reason I thought I saw somebody else on the final round for her, but that could be. That's
because I believe if I recall one of the pictures or videos I took, he was right in frame.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. He was there. So
yeah, there was some talk on another message board, and for sure, and that's why I knew it was her boyfriend, only because of that. And he's not a player. He plays casually. He's not.
She whoops him.
Yes. Sure.
All of our FPOs whoop all of their counterparts.
Yes.
Sorry, Tyler. Sorry, Justin. Yep. Sorry, Tom Seven. Sorry. Yep. So, rightfully so, whooping them.
Yeah. So there's your top 10 or 11 for FPO and MPO. Were there any other big storylines that you kind of took away from the weekend?
Yeah,
as far
there's
as, like, course or player or
I think a couple of them. One, namely, is how much people do thoroughly enjoy this course. And I feel like this is the second weekend in a row of me working that I got that feedback directly on the ground from a lot of players.
Which is funny because I feel like this course, I don't really like the front nine. I feel it's a little boring.
No one invited you to it.
That's fine. Like it just I forget which hole it is on the front nine that I do like. It's the water hole.
8 with the elevated pin.
No,
with the water and reeds off to the right.
Yeah. That one. I'm sorry. 8.
Yeah, that's 8.
I love. That's a great hole. I think it's a phenomenal hole. But the rest of the front nine to me just doesn't do much for me. There's a few nice. I love a couple of the greens, but overall the shots. It's when you get to the back nine, I think this course really shines.
Yeah. I can just say that so many people that I spoke to usually in a very casual setting were just like, yeah, I love this place. I love being here. Now, maybe I'm now putting 2 and 2 together in the sense that this to use a current day phrase that I typically hate, this event is its own vibe.
Oh, yeah.
Through and through, this place is very special and very unique. The job that the Shawns do in curating this entire place and hosting us at Swenson, which is its own little like magical oasis in what's not considered an overly glamorous town, being there on site in the confines of the Swenson Park, people really enjoy that. Everything about the event gives you event vibes. You are not just at a disc golf tournament. You are truly at a sporting event. And that is 1,000% by design by the Shawns. Like it is so much the fabric of this event is to have it be just that, like an overall event. And then on top of it, when you've left the course, when you've left the property, there's essentially an open-ended invite for the players and such, and a lot of the workers and volunteers and whomever else to go over to OTB. And that's complete I don't want to say complete fuckery, but like that
I've seen some social media videos.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a bunch of people screwing around.
There's a little choose your own adventure of how much fun you're going to have, but people are there. They're hanging out. It is an open-ended invite, and you are at literally one of the, if not the one of the largest disc golf retailers in the world, with tens of thousands or 100,000 discs or whatever in the presence, which, believe it or not, gets old. You can only look at so much plastic for so long if you're not shopping. But you're in the warehouse, you're outside the warehouse, and there's food, there's beverages. There was Glow Golf just down the street that the Glow gentleman set up. Not Nomad Disc Golf. The
Glow gentleman, does he glow?
Yes, I forget what the organization he goes by. Well, you could walk about a block and a half, and we're at a tiny little city park. And he set up 6 holes of Glow Golf with lights lining the fairway. I've got a really cool post coming about it. Lights lining the fairway, and you could just walk down there and play Glow Golf. Watch out for the foxholes over there, because you may fall in and twist your ankle and eat dirt like I did. So thankfully my ankle is fine now. But back at the shop, and they have all these crazy things going on. There's marble races down this crazy marble track. Most of the nights there's some live music, just whoever can play, and plus a band is officially scheduled. So they have live music going on. It is good controlled chaos or manageable chaos. And it is so much a part of this event. And it was interesting because I was talking to Danny's mom, Danny, the owner, OTB, Danny Corbett, and
Danny's a great guy, by the way.
Danny's a phenomenal guy in his own right.
And I don't just say that because he helped sponsor Skip Ace,
right? But just even talking to his mom, who went overseas last year to see some of the European events, and just having the conversation about like what our course is and what our events like. And even Danny said at one point, he's like, I don't know. I don't go to a lot of these other tournaments. And then when we did, we found out like, oh, it's kind of not like what we do here. And I think that just is all very special that people can hang out and go over there and have the time that we do. And some nights were, I think I went over there 2 out of the 4 nights. One night was relatively slow, so to speak, not a lot going on. And then another night was, maybe it was there 3 nights. Another night was absolutely crazy. So it's a little bit of everything in between. I, unfortunately, on Sunday night, I flew out. I took a red eye on Sunday night. So I went over to the shop. People were there. Lots of basketball was getting played, actually, watching, Philo and Andrew Marweed and Luke Humphreys and Paige, a bunch of people playing basketball. And I left before I talked to Missy and Ella and Raven, but little later is when Holland showed up, and Kelvin had just gotten there as I was pretty much walking out. And then it looks like things only continue to explode on Sunday, as they should. Like, the event is officially done. Everyone can let their hair down, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And it looked like a really good time. And instead, unfortunately, I was off to catch my flight at the airport. So I wasn't there for all of the final night shenanigans, but I can't say it enough. Danny and all of the OTB crew, just absolutely incredible. So very, very highly recommended. If you ever get a chance on the course, off the course, it's just, it's so easy to see how everybody kind of rallies around. You see the purple, that's an OTB thing. You see Purple Fridays because of OTB. And then you see how Pirate Island and the Zuka Zone have kind of taken on their own life. You see how Nate, who's the guy that was playing, saxophone during the intros.
Oh, yeah.
And does so much of the artwork and all the other stuff, how insanely creative he is. And it just, people are all there having a good time. So 10 out of 10 would recommend. It is not like, and that's not to say other events aren't fun in their own ways as well, but there is a very specific vibe, so to speak, that happens over at the OTB event. So really, really cool. And what also is cool is our guest of the night looks to be getting himself into position to maybe join us here shortly. So once he's got a few things all set up, we're gonna be able to welcome him. Wow, what great timing! We just got done babbling on and on and on about the event. And is he ready?
He looks like he's ready.
Oh, he looks ready. He's always ready. All right. Well, I guess without further ado,
coming in like a 60-foot putt
all day long, Mr. Clutch himself, Calvin Heimburg.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, man?
Good. I'm out here at Brook Trails. I'm in the pro shop, bumming some Wi-Fi. Just got done with some skins out here.
All right.
And
yeah. Clearly, you can't spoil anything, but set the stage. What went down in terms of who is there, when's it coming out, channel? Give us all those details.
So the competitors were Clay Edwards, Zach Arlinghouse, Bradley Williams, and myself. And I don't know what the release date will be, but check out Go Throw's channel.
Sweet.
I'm sure you'll see it there whenever it comes out.
Okay, just wink if you won all the skins.
I did not.
All right. Well, we won't spoil it any more than that. Maybe he won all of them plus bonus, and that was really his way to throw us off. All right. Calvin, I was just going on and on and on, and maybe you can add on to this right away. I was going on about the vibe that is the OTB Open, that is the OTB warehouse, and the people and the Shawns and everything else. If you could, just give us your perspective about how this tournament feels and maybe hits a little different in terms of even just stuff off the course.
Yeah, I mean, there's always something to do out there in Stockton. The guys at OTB always have fun games and just hang out at their shop every evening if you'd like. I didn't hang out there too much this week. Just went out there on Sunday night. But yeah, between them and then all the Shawns running the event, they're always awesome to deal with. They're always very receptive to anything you have to say. And I feel like just everything always runs very smoothly out there. They have a really great event team.
They do. And part of, now if we dial in specifically on the course, I was saying I'm surprised that back-to-back big events, both Austin and here, a lot of players say they like the course, which I think says a lot about a golf course. What's your overall take on the course and what's required of you out there?
Got distracted. I don't know what you said, but I do like the golf course. As far did you ask me what I think is good about the course, or?
Yeah. I just said Harvey Penick and this course. I was surprised to hear so many players talk them up for being at a ball golf course. Just kind of maybe describe, your overall impressions of you guys playing at a ball golf course.
I think both courses do a really good job of not necessarily using the golf part of the property. Like obviously we throw over it some, but they use those areas kind of off the typical golf fairways to where, they bring the trees into play. Like most of Swenson's played, not on the golf fairways at all. Like every once in a while you cross one, you can kind of get some skips on one, but for the most part, you're throwing through the big trees that kind of separate the fairways. And I feel like Harvey Penick, as that course has evolved, they've put more courses, they've made more holes kind of in the super dense woods. Like they've cut out some new holes. And so it is out on a golf course. It's great for the people to be able to move around. And but there's still, challenging lines for us where we have to actually avoid trees as opposed to just throwing it as far as we can.
What is there anything you'd change about the course or the property? I mean, because Leonard Muse, I know, has been seemingly really receptive and he's very analytical. But is there anything out there when you're out on this massive piece of property after the couple of years we've been there where you're like, man, I really wish we did X, Y, or Z?
I think there's always little tweaks that I don't know. Like I think the change on the par 4 hole 9, I don't think that was a good change. I like the old hole better. I don't know. I think little tweaks are always good, but I think that one wasn't my favorite. But as a whole, most of it's I think pretty good. I'm sure I could think of some more things if I really thought about it long. But that's one that I thought of during the week. I didn't quite get it because it funneled players towards the next hole's tee pad. And before it was like kind of a crazy, you have to get way left before you kind of have to then clear a bunker and with green, and then the basket was on a mound. It just required 2 really good shots as opposed to the new hole. I felt like you kind of get away with just like ripping it as far as you can and kind of scrambling.
Do you like the different course layouts? Do you like it when they change? Go, I think we went AABB. Do you like course tweaking like that, or would you rather have 2 completely different types of courses?
I like the course tweaking. It's something I think we just need more of. I think in general, when you just play the same tee pad and basket every round for 3 or 4 rounds, it can just be tough to, I don't know. If someone's got it dialed, it's tough to like really gain anything on them because they're just throwing the same shot they've already thrown. It's just like every day they do it, they're building confidence. So I think the changeup is good. I think it helps, mix up scoring. Like you can move a basket from the right side to the left side, and it can change a hole from being a backhand to a forehand. And by just like, as opposed to it being 2 courses, by just changing pins, making the shot change, like, it's a lot easier to practice as a player as well. Just having to go to one property and play out there and just practice different locations as opposed to having to travel to multiple properties.
And then I have to ask, do you like it as, we'll say, AABB, or would you prefer to see, like, go back and forth, ABAB, something along those lines?
ABBA, a little ABBA.
ABBA, Dancing Queen. I know it's more difficult for the course maintenance to go like ABAB, but would you prefer that or no? Or do you like the way it is?
I don't think I have a strong opinion on that, to be honest. I'm happy that it does move. I think whatever the order is fine. I definitely see how it's a lot less work for just doing the same layout twice in a row. So I'm cool with that, but I think it would also be cool to go ABAB. That way no one can really get into like a rhythm and throw the same shot, back to back days. You kind of mess up on a hole, you can't go back the next day and get revenge on it. You're going to have to let it simmer for another day.
All right. So you're a big AB fan. I got follow that. Hey, how much does distance? I mean, you talked about it in the interviews, and we of course talk about it all the time that you have this low line drive that is super advantageous. I don't know where there's any course where it doesn't really give you an advantage, but maybe here more than others it does. How do you feel about just the overall design components of the course, like in terms of length, in terms of closeness to greens or bunkers, all of those types of things? Is there anything that jumps out at you?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it favors me. Just the trees that are out there are kind of lower ceiling compared to a lot. So, I mean, that's why it kind of favors my game. I don't have to really think too much because it's just normally the shot I would normally throw anyways. So it doesn't necessarily change my game too much. I can see it definitely affecting others. But yeah, I think they do a really good job out there of, risk reward, putting hazards and out of bounds at appropriate distances from the basket to where you really have to think about, what you want to do and what shot you want to execute and know, where the bailout zones are.
I know Leonard Muse is incredibly analytical. I mean, I was walking down a few fairways with me. He's like, well, 19% of the time this happens. And I'm like, all right, Leonard, I got you. I mean, he just really breaks things down as a course designer and loves to tweak things and work with things. Did you personally have any conversations with him before, during, or after the tournament? And anything at all with him?
Nothing really on course design. I did say hi to him when I showed up on Sunday before the tournament. And I think I saw him in passing a couple other times, but we didn't really talk much about the course design. Most of it was the same from Champions Cup. So there wasn't really much to talk about as far as changes. So, yeah, I didn't have any of those conversations with him.
Okay.
Right, well, here's a general question about course, and we always talk about things like course records. Do you have how would you prefer to see the course records look? Because every year we change the course. Yeah. Leonard Muse tweaks the course. It's one stroke different. It's a pin, and every year now it's a commentator thing. Oh, well, this is this year's course record.
Right.
It kind of gets to the point where it's meaningless. Do you have any take on that? Does it matter to you at all, or?
No, it doesn't matter too much to me. I think I don't know. I think our courses and our game's still evolving quite a bit, and I think that's just kind of where we are. I imagine one day courses will stay a little more similar, and those stats will be a little more meaningful. But for now, it just kind of is what it is. I like that we're tweaking things, and maybe pars changing for changing holes, and I think for the most part we're doing stuff for the better. So if it means that we don't really know what a course record is, I'm fine with it.
That's why my plan always is the course record should be based on PDGA rating, because it's always pretty similar within the field, within the same course. You can't compare course to course, but similarly, you can't compare course records course to course. And if there's like 3 holes that are changed, a 1071 is still as good as a 1071, and it takes into account weather and all that other fun stuff. And I know that might be
what a hot take.
That might be a spicy take, because I know some people don't love the rating system, but I don't know. Because again, we had 2 different course layouts this week, A and B.
Right.
What's the course record? Oh, that's on course record A, and that's course record B. I hate, and I know it gives everybody something to talk about in the booth and stuff like that. So I know it's not so much a player worry, but I just didn't know if you had any sort of take on it. So, and you don't, so that's good.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, we'll say storylines, we briefly talked about it earlier, and just talking about, of course, you repeat as OTB champ. Do you care about how that's phrased, considering we had a major in there? Isaac obviously won last year at the same property over 4 rounds. Does
it feel like a repeat or not?
Right, yeah, that's a good one to ask.
Not really. It doesn't feel like a repeat. I mean, we went out there and played a major out there, so it's like, I've already been back there since the time I won before, so it doesn't necessarily feel like a repeat. But I mean, I'll put it this way: I don't think it was treated like a repeat because I wasn't on the last card going out the first day.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So I don't know why that's the. I don't think it in anyone's mind other than whoever decided to start calling a repeat it was, but.
Well, we talked about that. Sometimes that's a little bit of just the producer storylines, right? Of making it feel like it is, depending on if you're doing well or not. Because if Isaac was shredding, there's a good chance we're essentially calling him a repeat champion, in a sense. But anyway, we talked earlier. What was that? Oh. I think one of the conversations that continues to come up, and I'm sure you've been glued to all the social medias because you really care. I mean that sarcastically. But one of the conversations that's come up is calling you and those putts at the end clutch. And I'm going to say I have no problem calling those very clutch putts in very crucial moments. The flip side of that coin or criticism would be, hey, he shouldn't have been needed to make all those big putts. He should either thrown better drives or not gotten himself into a position of being even close to being tied because he had a 5-stroke lead. Does any of that narrative at all, spun in any direction, does any of that make you feel any certain way?
Not particularly. I don't know. I mean, you can argue semantics or whatever, what clutch is. I mean, I went out of there and I won, and that's really what matters to me. So I don't.
Right.
I mean, no matter how I did it, like I don't know. It doesn't necessarily matter. I think it was exciting for the viewers to watch. Not exciting for me in the moment. Definitely, nerve-wracking and frustrating at times, but I mean, I think you can say like the putts were clutch while at the same time maybe the throws weren't. Like I think those are I think those might go hand in hand. But yeah, I don't know. I I don't think it really matters. Like,
I mean, you make those putts and you win by 5. We're like, oh, those are huge putts. Those are awesome. Those are highlights. I don't think the word clutch gets attached to them as much, right?
Yeah.
If you still have a 5-stroke lead while you're doing that, but
then
you're
it's
doing
called like dominance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, clutch is always situationally based. Like I mean, I don't know. It feels like a weird argument to be having on social media. Like, don't we have something better to be doing?
There's a lot of things we have better to be doing.
Kelvin, I would rather people be arguing about your clutchness than 1,000 other things on social media.
That's true.
Okay.
I think that's
fair.
There's a lot of bad things out there on social media. This is so keep arguing about clutchness. I don't want to hear about anything else.
That's right. There is a lot of other
worse things.
What has been, I know, actually, I don't know how much driving you've done some, but what have been any of the either conversations or reactions or feedback or otherwise that you've had or reflecting that you've done now in the last 48 hours?
I don't think I've done much reflecting. I've got a lot of congratulations, from friends and family through the phone, but I don't know. I think in general, a lot of the feedback I got from people early was just like, epic finish, way to pull through, way to make those putts when you needed to. I guess people they're not telling me way to throw a 40-foot long upshot on 17. No one's told me that, But I don't know. Yeah, I guess I haven't reflected too much. I've just honestly, I drove a few hours yesterday, came out here to Brook Trails, played a little golf and disc golf, and kind of did the same today. So I've just been busy, doing stuff.
When I think about your season, or it doesn't matter what I think about your season. What would you grade yourself for this season? If you're thinking back to what's been happening now that we're almost in June, what's your assessment for the season so far for you?
I would say my season so far, we'll go B, maybe B minus, but trending upwards.
Okay.
Yeah, you started
I
out.
Put it somewhere in that range. I mean, I didn't start very good. I would say the beginning of the year was below my standards. But I feel like I've been trending in the right direction recently. The putt's been feeling good, elbow's been feeling good, so the forehand's been getting used a little bit more. And so yeah, I would say solid, but I would say like if I were just to take like recent, it would be like maybe like A minus, A or something. But like if I take the full picture, because I got to include early on, it's probably like in that B minus range.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you think?
Well, I was just thinking, I mean, you had that big win over in Taiwan when we were hanging out, but then, then it went downhill for a few events after that. And then riding the ship by the time you got to Champions Cup.
Yeah, the major.
5th. Yeah, you finished 5th there, 4th in Jonesboro, 2nd in Kansas City Wide Open. Jomez event, you finished 13th, but you were probably like, what, 1 stroke or 2 strokes away from like 2nd, because I know that was an incredibly congested
I don't know.
Podium.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, it was very, very close. And then obviously 7th at Austin and here. This weekend, are you, Johnny, can you scroll up? Are you playing in Cascade?
No.
Okay. So what does this weekend look like for you? And why aren't you playing? The fans want to know.
I'm gonna get up to Portland a little early, but I'll probably explore a little for a few days and then get some practice in on Milo. Just whatever, maybe like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and open up. It'll just make practicing easier for Portland Open because those are both long courses that are whatever, like 50 minutes apart or something.
Was there any chatting with Gannon either during or after the round? I don't know what your relationship is with him. I know you guys are going to be doubles partners, obviously.
Yeah.
Any ribbing, anything like that? Or was there any talk afterwards like, dude, we're going to crush doubles?
Um, we talked a little bit after at the autograph tent, but no ribbing. I don't think that would be the time or place. Not trying to
Okay.
make someone hate me, especially not my doubles partner. But yeah, no, I mean that was one thing that was said. Look how far we are ahead of the field here this week. We can just channel that when we're playing doubles. Like, I mean, it's going to be tough to compete. But I mean, there's a bunch of great teams out there for that event. The Adam Hammis Ricky team's pretty scary. Adam's been playing really good this year, and much more consistent. I feel like than he has in the past. So, and then yeah, Ricky, he can put it in from anywhere. So. Honestly, that one's probably in my mind. That's probably like the scariest team, especially with not knowing what Paul McBeth's status is as of now. So, but yeah, no, I talked to him a little bit, but not a ton. Definitely no ribbon.
Have you gone back and watched any of the footage? I was thinking of Gannon's approach on 18 in the playoff. The way the disc stood up and got pushed back by the wind. Were you able to go back and see that at all?
Yeah, I've been shown that. I did see that. That was a pretty crazy reaction. Not something we could see from, where we were at. I could see the disc tracking left out, towards the out of bounds, and then I saw it skip back in. But, from where we were, it's really tough to, get that forward, backward depth perception. So I wasn't really sure how close or how far he was, and I had no clue that, he was closer to 45, but ended up at like 35 instead.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you guys could tell based on the angle, or if Gannon could even tell the way he stepped off of that throw. He looked disgusted, but I don't even know if he could tell where it was going. Obviously, he knew it was left, but if you guys can't tell how close or how far away it was just, the reaction was crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of 16, 17, and 18, obviously very dramatic for you in terms of what you did, but how do you feel about those three closing holes in the fact that they, were arguably playing as some of the hardest statistically? Do you like those three to close out the tournament?
Yeah, I like hard holes as finishing holes. I don't like it when, they're soft and it just kind of seems like everyone's just going through the motions to finish. So I'm a big fan of hard finishing holes. I think 18 is a great finishing hole. And then 16 and 17 before that are also just great. It gives someone who's behind a chance to actually like come back and win. And there's no real safe way to play any of them. There's trouble no matter what you do on all three of those holes.
I guess with that, what the F were you thinking when you threw hole 16? I mean, that was terrible.
Which one? Which shot?
Good question. I mean, the first one, the first shot, and then what the
second one that hit the Mando and kicked
right, yeah, the second one. I mean, you had one good shot there, but all the ones besides the one that went in weren't great.
Yeah, I mean, the first shot, I was just trying to execute what I'd practiced. I threw it the day before, and I didn't quite turn it enough, but I ended up way down there, just like barely out of bounds. And that's what I practiced. I threw it well in practice. I just didn't throw it very good that day and dropped down, and kind of put me in a weird tweener zone. I wasn't quite sure what to do, but there's plenty of room to go around the Mando and miss the branch that was also in my way. I just pulled it. I don't know. It was just a bad shot. So, and then from there you go to the drop zone, which definitely never had practiced in my life because I never thought I would miss the Mando. And it's a sandbox over there. It's not a great place. And I really had no clue what to do. So I just kind of chucked one out there, and it honestly ended up okay. But I didn't have the greatest idea of the distance on there, but I think I read it pretty close to right. I just, it's just like a tricky distance. I didn't want to throw like another distance driver. Fairway was going to kind of be pushing it, but I threw it and got up there and made a really big putt, which I needed to do.
Yeah, and I said this before you joined us. Your putt on 17, obviously, again, clutch, but well within your wheelhouse. 18, clutch, within your wheelhouse. I'm not putting a lot of bets on you, if I'm being honest, at 62 feet slightly uphill. Like, I feel like that's a touch out of your typical, like, solid comfort zone. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I don't know many people that I'm taking to make that, more than they miss it. But yeah, definitely not in my comfort range. I don't imagine that's like comfortable for many people. I mean, there are
No,
definitely people that make it more than others. But
that's what I mean. Like Gannon
and
you're not
Ricky.
surprised. If like Gannon throws one in from there, you're like, okay, that's Gannon.
Yeah.
Ricky throws one in, you're like, okay, that's like, you're not surprised. And clearly you have the skills to do it, but you're not someone I'm like tagging in for that 62 footer. There's a few other people you would tag in first.
Oh, yeah,
I guess
for sure.
that's my point, right?
For sure, there's plenty of people I would tag in before me.
but
Hey, partner, you want to come over real quick and help me out?
I mean, I know there's so many emotions, but do you recall what you were thinking? Were you pissed off before you got there? What were you thinking stepping up to that putt, and then even after you made it? Do you remember any of those thoughts?
Yeah, I think a lot of frustration. Definitely frustrated putting myself in that position. Yeah, that's the main emotion. Definitely just a lot of frustration.
To channel it in though, to can, like I said, a somewhat uncharacteristic putt for you was
To save bogey.
to save bogey. I already apologized. We blew out some eardrums or came close to it with screaming. It just because it was. I wasn't thinking that was something that you were gonna do. Like, if I'm just being blunt, right? Yeah, it was incredible. How do you feel about hole 17? I guess we've already talked about 16 and 18 now, but how do you feel? Like, break down 17 if you would.
Yeah, I like the hole. I play it different than most people. I'm trying to go straight and finish a little left so that I can kind of take a hyzer through this little higher V. While a lot of other people are throwing forehands or big hyzer flip turnovers, getting out to the right to try to take like the lower, straighter shot. I don't know. I've always played the hole the way I was playing it this week. For years, for as long as I've had that hole, that's how I've been playing it. I feel comfortable doing it. If you get left enough, you're kind of throwing away from the water, and it just kind of fades back into the green. And I'm surprised more people don't do it, honestly. But I don't know. I love the hole. I think it's a good hole because it's just you have trouble on both shots, or any shot you take, there's trouble. You can't really walk it in, and I think that makes a good closing hole.
Yeah, and I love also. I'll say I love watching the women play to a slightly shorter pin. They're throwing essentially the same tee shot. They're trying to get down near the water's edge for the most part. And then they play to the front of the hill that you guys are going over and you're cresting and going past. But I really do enjoy watching them. I love watching them throw to that specifically because you can see the basket so much better as opposed to where the MPO basket is.
Yeah.
So just from a spectator perspective, I really enjoy seeing that. Switching gears a little, I think you told me a few years ago, without giving me any specifics, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to an event of this scale or magnitude and just your overall contract, is there a higher emphasis put on you winning bigger events? Is that kind of how your contract is structured?
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of incentive to win. That is the primary objective. So,
which may be different from other players on your team, where they're getting possibly bonuses for other accomplishments and/or finishes. Might be a little bit heavier there, and maybe not as much on a win. Is that a fair statement?
Yep, that's fair. It's all or nothing for me.
Wow.
Bet on yourself.
Yeah, and I go back to thinking, I feel like Macbeth was similarly structured, or has been similarly structured. Have you guys ever had any kind of contract conversations?
No, I haven't had really any conversations with him on that. I definitely wouldn't be surprised if that's how he was structured at some point. I think there's just a certain point. I mean, especially with Paul, he sells so many discs. Like, nickel and diming bonuses for him means a lot less than just hitting big when he hits. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's how Paul's was structured.
Yeah, and just to put it out there to some degree, some players get bonuses literally for just making it on coverages. Some players get bonuses for how they finish at A tiers and even probably B tiers, depending on which team level you're on. Others have different travel stipends. Like, everyone is a little bit different. And like Johnny just said, I love the idea that you're all big on the big finishes at the biggest events, because that's what you're there to do, and obviously skilled to do so. I know I ask it every time, but 12 grand, I think it was 12 grand.
12 grand, yeah.
12 grand plus some sizable bonus of some kind. I'll change my question. What do you do with that?
I don't have any plans for it right now. It's just gonna go to the bank, I guess. I don't know. I don't have any big plans. Maybe I'll buy myself something. Treat myself to a birthday present.
Yeah, you've got a birthday next week.
Yeah. What is, I mean, you are such a
simple?
No. I mean, you're straightforward, practical. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. I feel like you're such a practical guy. What kind of splurge are you contemplating? I mean, at one point it was a rock tumbler polisher thing, a cutter, which is awesome for you. Yeah. But what's the next splurge for you?
I don't know. That's why it's tricky. I'm sure there's some other piece of rock equipment I could get myself, but I don't have something in mind right now. But so I don't know.
Not a fancy watch, not a McLaren, not a. I just tried to think.
No, I don't think 12 grand will get me that. Could get me a fancy watch. I don't really wear a watch though. That would just be a waste.
Big gold chain.
Yeah, that's what I need. A big gold chain.
That would be great.
Yeah, you could throw some people off with something like that. It just hit me, and there's a lot of smart ways to invest money. It'd be kind of funny to take if someone like you were to take your winnings and then create one new CD and with just exactly that amount. And then, put that away in the bank and just like specifically set those aside. And then at the end, you have like these 40 or 50 random CDs and you're like, okay, that was that win and that win. I don't know. Just to compartmentalize. I don't know.
Terry's weird, by the way.
Very.
Like I've known that Terry and money are very weird in general.
That's a fair statement. That's a fair statement.
He should probably put it in like a jar. With those pennies.
No. He's not making interest there. That's why I say
big piggy bank.
It's a big piggy bank.
Somewhere where you're gonna make money. I love the idea of like saying, looking back in 10 years and be like, oh yeah, look at all this money. That was my such and such win. Like it's specifically attributed to exactly that amount from that win. And then I don't know. I don't make a lot of sense. Speaking of winning. I was going to ask if there was a big dinner or something Sunday night, but Sunday night I saw you over at the OTB shop. I had to leave and go take a stupid airplane, a red eye. How long did the party go Sunday night? Were you there for it? Did you win the party? As in, were you there the latest?
No, I definitely wasn't there the latest, but I was there until probably I think it might have been close to 1, maybe a little after 1. So, but there were still people out there. I definitely wasn't as busy, I would say, as I've seen it in the past on Sundays. But I was there late enough, past my bedtime.
Yeah, you're not a late night guy, so 1 o'clock is saying something.
Yeah,
you got to sleep in. It was Memorial Day.
Yeah, yeah. And any shenanigans that you can share from that evening? I mean, I saw a few pictures, but set the stage. Give everyone a little taste, maybe generically, of what was all going on over there Sunday night.
Marble racing, basketball, tossing, light up frisbees, food, drinks.
shopping?
Oh, there's like the Casey White had the little horse racing thing out. You know,
Okay.
so some gambling, some games, a lot of chatting.
Anybody go live with a whatnot or ripping some cards? I know they've been doing that the previous few nights.
I didn't see any of that, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Sure. Was it? Did anyone? Did the at some point a band started playing, or some band members, right, or no?
Yeah, there was only some people playing some music over there in that other room.
Right. Okay. Some Clask. Is that the Finnish or Norwegian?
I didn't play any, but those boards were out there.
Yeah. A little bit of that. Okay. Did you've done the main event? I assume, or no?
Yep. I played the main event. Not this year, but I've played in the past.
So explain that to everyone. I haven't even mentioned it yet. So go ahead and why don't you explain kind of what the main event is over at OTB?
Yeah, they got this little course set up, different Mandos, and you're playing with whatever those floppy things are.
Blowflies. DGA blowflies.
Blowflies. Yep. Yeah, they got a little course set up, and yeah, there's some funky rules, some funky Mandos, and you're basically playing mob golf with these things, and it takes a long time generally, I feel like. So, yeah. But it's fun. It's a good time.
It's usually a 3-hole course, and you start in one area of the warehouse, and you got to go down a certain hallway, and then you make like a 90-degree, and then if your disc accidentally goes in like one of the baskets that's in the way, you're supposed to buy everybody a 6-pack or something like that, or bring a 6-pack. If your disc gets like stuck up in the rafters or in any of the inventory boxes, you have to like put a supporting point down and then throw. There's Mandos up and over these overhanging things that sometimes you have to go under, sometimes you have to go over, depending on when you're playing them. And it's just blowflies, like dozens of them flying at all times. And you could get anywhere from like maybe a 3 on a hole, upwards of like an 8 or a 10. Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to change in the future at all, and they're going to allow the Nerf frisbees. You have the blowflies and then the Nerf ones too.
Right.
So
right. Did you throw any of the Nerf frisbees around?
Yeah, I threw some of those today. You know, they're different, but they're fun to play with.
Yeah. We've been talking about the last couple of weeks, not a paid ad by Prodigy by any means, but it seems like a really cool collaboration, and it will be exciting to see how well they do. I meant to bring them actually tonight, and I didn't because they've arrived at my house.
I expected
I ordered some, so if anybody needs them. Not playing this weekend, and then you have, of course, the Northwest, another Elite Plus event, and then heading overseas. What is overseas and the European swing look like for you?
Playing all of them, you know. So I'm even playing the Finnish one that a bunch of people are skipping. I think I forget Kipis or something. Kipis.
Kipis, right,
or whatever.
Kipis? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's where it is. I think the town starts with an H.
Heinola? Yeah, or Heinola or something like that. Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. I'll be at all whatever it is, 4 of those events.
Okay.
I think the 2 in Sweden, 1 in Finland, 1 in Estonia.
Right. Wow. I guess we're not that far away. We're a little less than a month away before the European Open, which I guess will be a title defense in Estonia, even though it's not the festival this year. It's the European Open. But how excited are you to go back and play that? That's the first one when we go overseas. That's the first one we jump right into. Do you wish it was any later in the swing, or do you like that as soon as you get there, that's the first European event you're doing?
No, I think it's cool. I'm excited to get back over there. Curious to see what kind of changes they made to the property. They always set up, you know, it may not be the toughest course that we play all year, but, you know, it's the whole setup and shebang out there is always very professional. The event team does a great job, and I'm always excited to go out there and play because it really feels like a very professional setting out there.
Do you have, over the course of those 4 weeks or so that you're there, are there any non-playing obligations? Do you have any other things, media-wise or celebrity status-wise or Innova-wise or whatever?
I don't think I have any obligations. None that I can think of off the top of my head.
Were you the grand winner?
Okay.
No, not today.
No? Style was impeccable.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's tough. It's tough to be the winner. Everyone wants a piece.
Yeah. All right. I don't know that I got anything else. What else do we need to know, if anything?
I don't know. Not much. The big thing. I won. And I don't know if there's anything else that important going on.
Big question. Now, how many do you want? How many more wins are you going to get this year?
How many am I going to get?
Yeah.
It's tough. I've never gotten more than 2. So, I guess I would just, if I was a betting man, I'd say one more.
You've never had more than 2 in a year?
Yeah, no, I pretty much am good for 2 in a year. And then, you can write me off for the rest.
Wow. It's funny because I was thinking, we talk about the consistency you had.
Just top 4. Psh.
Yeah, a whole, a couple of years back, never practically going outside the top 10, but I suppose only winning 2 of them. Only in quotes, by the way.
Only.
Yeah, that's still a feat. So.
Wow, a 2 and done kind of guy.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. I don't know. I think I've won 2 pretty much every year minus 2021. Where I barely even won any, where I just tied Ricky for the Ledgestone.
Yeah.
Well,
we know about that.
Well, unfortunately, he's got OTB Open now and the 2026 Asia Disc Golf Open. There's your 2 wins, buddy. Sorry.
No.
Okay, well, I wasn't counting Asia, but
you're not wasting it on that. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go scrub those results from the
internet. Just gray them out for now.
That's preseason.
Although that was featured Disc Golf Guide channel. That was a big deal. Right?
It is.
He did have Jackie Chen and a few others to hold off, and a win in another country and everything else. Still pretty cool. Maybe that's one of the final questions I can ask is, believe it or not, already planning for 2027. I've talked to people from New Zealand. I've talked to, of course, a lot of the people in the Asia Disc Golf Tour scene. When 6 months from now already, what do you kind of look forward to come slow or off season, whatever you want to call it? Is there anything that you're looking ahead to for either late 26 or early 27? Has any of that crossed your mind?
I don't have any disc golf planned, but that doesn't mean there won't be some planned. But nothing planned yet. I really did enjoy my time over in Asia. I've always heard great things about New Zealand, but I'm not the greatest planner, so I don't know. We'll see. Might make it out somewhere.
Okay. Well, good to know you're open to ideas and or possibilities.
Yeah.
Good to know. All right. Well, Kelvin, please go ahead and recognize, shout out, thank, whatever, any sponsors, supporters, whatever it may be, how we can follow you, support you, all of those things. Share it with the people if you would.
Yeah, gotta always thank my sponsors, Innova, Millennium Squatch, Flight Factory. They financially support me and keep me out here on the road. And obviously got to thank my friends and family and fans. They are also a real big key to all that as well. So thank you guys for having me on, and thanks everyone for tuning in and watching.
All right. With that, we're going to let Kelvin Heimburg go. Travel safely. Enjoy your time in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, and hopefully you can get some nice casual practice in and gear up for the next Elite Plus event. And let's hope you go back to back. You win that one, back to back weekends. So
then I could go home the rest of the year.
Just retire. Be like, I'm good. Yeah. I would absolutely love to hear what Innova and a few of your sponsors would say if you're just like, I don't know, I got 2 Elite Pluses. Leave me alone.
What more do you want?
Yeah, they might be upset. Oh
my gosh, it would be funny though. All right, everyone, that's Kelvin Heimburg, your champ this weekend out in Stockton. Thanks for joining us, and have a good night. Thank you so much for jumping on here tonight. We appreciate it.
Of course.
Thanks
for
Kelvin.
having
All
me.
right. See ya.
Bye.
All right.
Calvin Heimburg, ladies and gentlemen.
Good guy.
Straightforward. I knew there would be no wild purchases except for maybe some rock polishing equipment,
maybe some shoes. He's always on the lookout for specific shoes.
Yeah, there's the very specific shoes that he does that he goes after to. And if you've seen some of the slow-mos and the way his feet and shoes kind of contort when he throws, you'd understand why he specifically seeks out certain ones and then gets more and more of them. All right.
Oh, wow. On the board, he says, dang, I got here late. I was Gannon's caddy. I could have offered some insight on his side.
Yeah. Well, Conrad, if there's anything you want to share in the chat, let us know. I believe you and I were talking, over at OTB after the fact, and what a weekend it was for sure. And yeah, I thought it was interesting that it was Gannon who specifically had brought up in the post-round interview, which is always very gracious when anyone who comes up short is, first of all, willing and right there. Everyone has been great about it. But I thought it was interesting. That was one of the things Gannon leaned into in the post-round interview. Is like, that's my partner. I mean, I don't think he said it with that enthusiasm.
No, he didn't.
Knowing, like, yeah, those guys what was it, 9 or 10?
Yeah, they had
9,
they had the field. It was just slightly reminiscent of the Paul Eagle battle.
Yes.
I think
referenced that.
Referenced that. Just how they pulled away from the field and nobody could catch them.
No, there was. I mean, Gannon was 5 back, and we know with kind of obviously firepower he had, and then I think Hamas was 8 or 9 back going into the round, and I'm just like, I don't see literally any player not just getting past Gannon, but then also catching, and so on. Like, you need a lot of things to fall in your favor and to shoot, scorching 11.
Like both those guys to fall in the lake, basically. Right. That's what Hamas needed.
Right.
Or they just get hung up on Party Island or Pirate Island, whatever they want to call it now.
Yeah.
You can hear in the background of all the videos, the args that people are throwing out there.
Certainly a good time had out there for sure by everybody. Zoe helping lead the charge, no surprise, and having a good time with it. I didn't actually hang out there too much myself. I know I was kind of in the vicinity a little bit, but just constantly running around during the FPO round, so I didn't get to take it all in. But again, that's what so much of that place is about. If it's not obvious already, the great thing about that specific island or spot, so to speak, I think it's 6 holes that you can see some golf on while you're there. So that's, we talk about how expansive and how big this overall property is. And to think, hey, I can sit in this one spot and get a glimpse of potentially 6 different holes of golf being played. That's one thing that makes that spot so cool while you're out there.
That's really nice.
Yeah, absolutely love it. All right. I don't know. Do you get some PDJ or other news? Does it mean anything when we quickly? I'll just mention, and I know you guys probably saw it a little bit during the broadcast, but in terms of the standings, which aren't coming up for me, we saw that Calvin and Ricky flip-flopped, I believe, second and third place in the overall
DGPT standings.
Powerball World standings. That's so funny when I'm clicking on it. It literally isn't coming up on the internets for me. Maybe weird. They're drawing new numbers for Powerball or something right now.
It could be.
But we saw that happen. Again, a lot of golf to play. And with that, Gannon's still way out in front, right?
Oh,
It's when it's all said and done, the fact that Gannon took second and essentially got like 50 less points, and he already had a 300 or 400 or 500 point lead, just meant that even though the win is huge for Kelvin, it's he didn't pick up that much ground when Gannon.
If it makes you feel any better, Terry, the site's not coming up for me either, it must be on their side.
Okay.
The only PDGA news that we really have this week are some updated PDGA bylaws. Basically, the PDGA Board of Directors is updating Section 3C9, which more or less the original said beginning March 31st of this year, no former employee or independent contractor of the corporation may run for election to a first term of the Board of Directors for 5 years following the end of their employment or contract for services with the corporation. That's what it did say. Now they've updated it to say it does not apply to independent contractors whose work is seasonal, gig-based, or event-based in nature.
So I could still apply.
So you could still apply, Terry.
Just to throw this out there as an example, to me, I think this specifically looks to Matt Rothstein. Was an employee.
Yes, he
Almost
was.
immediately after not being an employee, he runs for the board and then gets elected to the board. Yeah. And this is saying
that's not allowed in the future.
You does it say you'd have 5 years?
You have to wait 5 years.
You would have 5 years before you could do that.
I call this the Rothstein rule.
I was just gonna say I'm not claiming this is at all based on him. I just know he would be directly applicable in this case because he was an employee. Same could be said of Grant Zellner, who was an employee like two-ish years ago. He, in theory, wouldn't be allowed to run for the board right now because he was a previous employee. Joe Chargoloff, in theory, would not be able to then run for the board. This is the first I'm hearing of it, and clearly I haven't really processed it. I don't know that this is any big, this doesn't make me feel any one way or another in any major way, but I guess it's an interesting clarification. I guess in theory, if there was, and I know there's some big ifs and buts here. If there was a significant reduction at the PDGA workforce, and then those people all went and ran for board positions, and 3 of them, because I think at most we have 3 in a year, 3 of them were elected. That's still not the majority of the board, but it's a significant part of the board. And so in theory, if all 3 people that were no longer with the PDGA then in turn got elected days or weeks or months later, they would have a significant sway in some of the things that happen to the remainder of the PDGA. And maybe they're waiting, I don't want to call it a cool-off period, or because it doesn't have to be bad that you're leaving.
5 years feels like a long time.
It kind of does, because I feel like 3 years would be
that's
like
kind
a
of
term.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. Yeah.
But anyway,
regardless,
this does not. I don't care because it doesn't impact me. That's not how I feel. But I don't know if this feels like I'm also not a policymaker and or a big bylaw investigator. So I'm sure there's some very clear, concise reasoning behind all of this. As I like to always say, just because I don't understand it doesn't mean it's not important. So that is most things in life. So,
all right.
So I'm sure there was some good reasoning for it.
Let's real quickly go over just a few of the other A tiers that happened this past weekend. The 2026 Rocket City Blast, presented by Westside. Harper Thompson wins this in a playoff over Aiden Scott. Clint Calvin in third. Over on the FPO side, Shelby Cohen wins this, $540. A couple of your touring pros that maybe stayed a little bit local. I know Shelby is kind of off and on the tour, it feels like, and no doubt with her age, probably.
And notice the tournament director?
Larry Burge. Yeah. Candace is, the FPO only won, and we had Linda Nyberg win that one. So congratulations to there. You've got the SFL Power Grip Pro Tour #1 in Tampere. Lori Lettinen shooting 16 under par, beating Alexi Ivanen on the MPO side. And, wow, that's a lot of players there. 125. On the FPO side, you've got Olivia Kinstead winning by 10 strokes over Netta Lapajo. I'm sure I screwed that up.
Good enough.
But that's close.
It's pretty close. And then Ida Letamaki finishing in third. Nice.
Oh, I missed that. I closed it out. So, yeah, there we go. Those are basically your A tiers from this past weekend. Not a lot going on other than the Elite Plus event.
Yeah, I mean,
not like last week.
Yeah, Elite Plus is rolling in, and then just knowing that we're seeing such a big Euro swing coming up in the next few weeks. Obviously, there's still big events going on over in Europe, but lots of people gearing up, and I noticed how we are not playing in Norway where we've been for a couple of years, whether it's been the PCS or Sula or or at Krokel or whatever. We don't have a Norway stop. We also don't. I mean, we have the Heinola and I apologize if that's not how it's pronounced, but we have that in Finland. But yeah, we're giving Tampere and Nokia and all of that area a little bit of a break, obviously after hosting the World Championships. So should be sweet. I'm already looking forward. I'll say, and I know Kelvin was just touching on it a little bit. I'm very much looking forward to the I keep calling it the European Disc Golf Festival. I guess it's just the European Open. But at the festival grounds in Estonia, I think that's going to be such a fun event again. I'm excited to see, because this is all part of the building blocks to get there for our Worlds in 2 years. Next, obviously this year in Detroit, following year in the Northwest out here in Portland. And then the year after, we're going to be in Estonia for Worlds for Estonia to have their first ever Worlds. And this is not a new concept or original thought by any means, as none of mine are. I was just thinking more and more, though, how exciting, if it can be pulled off, and I know it can now, to some capacity, to see a Pro Masters Worlds internationally.
Oh, it could happen, certainly.
You're talking about the demographic that has some of that disposable income.
In theory, yeah.
In theory. And you're going to have a ton of draw from overseas as it is. You're going to have plenty of local representation. So even if it was not heavily U.S. Represented, it's not like, okay, well, a bunch of people from the U.S. aren't going. They're only going to get 60 people to turn out. That's not going to be the case. And then obviously there's so many courses and places that in theory could host. Now I say it all the time. Those are all fine parameters. You still need a team that wants to do it and is willing to run an event. And I'm not about to tell anybody they should, but I would love to see a Masters Worlds take place somewhere over in Europe. It seems like, and maybe it's already in the works. I'll just say that now. Maybe somebody's thinking about a bid. I would just love to see it. Selfishly. Maybe by the time it happens, be in the MP50 and would play in it. I don't know. I keep forgetting that I'm getting older.
You forget
that we're closer to 50 than 40.
We have been for a little while there,
Technically, we're closer to 50 than 45.
Yeah, we round up now.
I don't like this.
No, I'm...
Like, at all.
I understand.
It also feels...
It doesn't feel that way to us, but...
No, it takes a moment for me to remember or realize, not that it's going to change much, that some of these disc golf things that I go to, I'm sometimes the oldest there.
Usually you are. And I know you don't act like it or feel like it sometimes, but...
Yeah, I don't know, I'm not a fan. Speaking of, as you just scrolled past, of course, because we can't do anything without controversy.
What?
Well, it doesn't take long to read the comments. Downtown Portland, there is couple of Disc Golf Pro Tour billboards.
There's two of them that I saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
One featuring Cat Merch, and the other one I think is more of a generic.
You had Gannon and I think Holland on it. It was a little bit more colorful. I had the same discussion. I really like the Cat Merch one. I think it's pretty clear. It's clean. It's concise. It tells you pretty much everything you need to know. It says Disc Golf Pro Tour on it. If you can't gather what it is,
right? It's
got the dates and it's got the courses. The one thing that I would say about it is it's hard to read the tickets.dgbt.com. So if you didn't necessarily know that where to get tickets, that's fine. But if you're seeing these, there's maybe you're on the road. Maybe if you're not, then you're probably standing there and you could Google it. Like if you're driving by, excuse me, sorry, if you're driving by, there's no way you're going to see tickets.dgbt.com. You just have to make a mental note of, the Disc Golf Pro Tour is going to be here June 6th and 7th, or June 4th through 7th. The other one, I think, is a little harder to read. I know some people prefer that one. But I don't know. I don't see a. I'm sorry. I'm going to ask this even. What are people upset about these, Terry?
The little that I've seen included just the overall color scheme. Like marketing is marketing. We could argue all day long about color schemes and colorways.
I like the black and white one. It's pretty simple.
Which is what some people exactly ripped on and said that it's not going to stand out and da 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 da. Even though I think black and white, in a lot of ways, just because it's black and white,
pops
it does
maybe
stand
more
out.
than a colorful one.
Yeah. There's no basket on it.
Who cares?
I mean, and technically, if you look at the Pro Tour logo, there's a basket within the Pro Tour logo.
Yeah.
Somebody's talked about how you can't necessarily tell or make out or know that that's going to be a disc
in her hand.
Yeah, and I guess I think
no.
If I'm watching,
it's dumb. It's a dumb thing. Next.
I was just thinking, if I saw a sport I didn't know or recognize necessarily, but it seemed as if it was an athletic or sporting move. I don't know what the technical term is for the sweeper when they play curling.
Yeah,
I'm sure. I don't know what those are called. I know, aren't they called rocks? The actual
that's the
sweeper.
Big
Is that what is
rock.
that called? What is the? There's probably some technical.
I'm sure
term.
there's some technical.
Point
term.
is, I don't know what that is. Would I be like, oh man, I'm just so lost. Like there's no context. I mean, I don't know.
If we saw a giant, and which wouldn't be shocking to see a giant curling a billboard in Wisconsin or in Milwaukee, because we have a huge curling facility actually in town. But if I saw one and it didn't have a sweeper in it, or maybe it didn't have the full rock in it, would I be upset? No. Again, those are so far I have not heard anything remotely.
And then people then took it a little more personal, which I think is irrelevant, especially when you're Joe Public. Took it personal to being Kat versus someone else because you don't either politically align with Kat and or think that.
That's also dumb.
And I to that I definitely thought, if you're Joe Schmo off the street and you just see this figure, you're not going to know of who she's dated or dating, or any drama or anything she's been involved in. You wouldn't know any of that and or have any context to that whatsoever. If you want to get that granular in the first place.
First of all, I get it being Cat merch because she did the Powerball commercials, which which inside the community you would know. Outside you'd have no clue because those aren't being probably played anywhere.
Right.
Second of all, she's an attractive young woman. Like, there's a reason why you put her on a big billboard all by herself. Like, if you're looking at that and you're thinking, oh, disc golf, like, oh, look, yeah, hey, maybe, and that might be sexist, it might be irrelevant, but like it or not, that's usually advertising.
Sure.
And it's they're not putting you on there. They're not putting me on there, Terry.
What are you trying to?
They're not putting some 50-year-old uggos on there.
It's not like she's in some kind of sexually compromising position or pose or anything that could be misconstrued as inappropriate. By
and frankly,
any standard or measure.
The other billboard, which has Gannon and Holland on it, I found that it was. Maybe it was just the picture that I saw. It was kind of no, not at all. It was kind of hard to make them out.
Sure,
you would not, just based on those pictures, you'd have no clue what they were doing. At least Kat Merch has a disc in her hand, and I think Holland had a disc in her hand in the thing. But the picture was smaller. It was busier. The billboard. I don't know.
I'm going to show you, and I don't know if it ever got posted.
I've not seen that one.
I took this picture because this was in Stockton.
Okay, that's a Stockton.
So I was leaving the course, and unfortunately, I know I'm just describing to everyone. There is a billboard, same size, but it's a digital one.
I think that's a great one.
As I left the course on Sunday night and was heading over to OTB, I had no idea it was there. I literally was just driving, and all of a sudden it popped up. I sat there for 4 minutes before it came up again.
Because it's a digital billboard and it rotates.
It rotated with like 100 other ones, and I'm just like, I need to get this image. So I sat there literally for like 4 minutes. But anyway, it came back up. It just says professional disc golf coming to Stockton. It is a Disc Golf Pro Tour colored billboard. It says May 21st to May 24th. QR codes. Get tickets at your tickets a little bit bigger.
I think that's even hard to read. The black on red, I think, is a little difficult to read, but whatever.
And then it has some QR codes. And this is on a similarly sized billboard in one of the most popular streets in Stockton, and it was on some form of rotation. I took the picture. I haven't even posted it yet, but I took this at 7:24 on Sunday night, and I thought that was great to see, and I had no idea it was even there. I did see the Portland posts, and so it's funny when I saw this one, I was like, oh, that's a pretty good looking billboard as well. Like it did what it needed to do.
I can understand if you are a marketer or you have done this in the past and you have qualms with maybe something specific because you know what works best on billboards. There's some people out there, I'm sure that's their job.
That are definitely professional.
I'm guessing they're not in our comments. I'm guessing those people are just probably opinionated morons that don't like something or other about it that just want to complain. Now, if you told me, I would prefer if it was this font on the billboard because it's easier to read at this speed, or something, we've done studies that say
actual analytical.
Yeah, if you use Calibri, that's not a great font when you're traveling at 50 miles an hour because it blurs. Instead, you want to use a sans serif or something.
Yeah. Like if you got papyrus, what are you even doing?
Exactly. I mean, if you got that detailed, I would maybe take your opinion a little seriously. If you're giving the opinion of why did they put cat merch on there?
Yeah.
I think you're an idiot, and I have a hard time taking your opinion seriously.
I guess because we do have a few people in the chat, some professional designers, including Tim, including Dave over at the Dyers Guild.
Carney says that Comic Sans is the best. I agree. I'm with you.
Exactly.
Or Wingdings. Let's do it in Wingdings.
MDAVR, we know Mike's out there. Any input? I assume you guys all have seen it as to what we're talking about. I don't know if Johnny could probably throw it.
Probably bring it up here.
Look at this. Johnny's on top of it.
That's one of them. That's the cat merch one.
Yes.
Clearly.
Oh, wait, who? I'm curious if anyone has any insightful professional response to that's on the board of all of our
Again, my two complaints about this are, I don't know if I would have the date in italics.
Okay.
Maybe it makes it a little harder to read. I don't really care about the courses because guess what? You don't care about the courses. If you're excited disc golf is coming or you think that's interesting, you probably don't know maybe where Glendevere is. Maybe you probably know Milo McIver.
It depends. Again, are you appealing to are you trying to appeal to a straight up disc golfer, or are you trying to appeal to general public? Because general public,
I don't think this appeals to general public.
General public will know where Glendevere is because it's such a prominent course in the city. Milo McIver is 45 minutes away.
Okay, yeah.
Like it's a hike. However, it's also a phenomenal
disc golf course.
Well, it's a disc golf course, but it's also a phenomenal just park within the park system.
I look at this, and to me, this does not appeal at all to your average person. Like there's just if I'm just a dude who knows nothing about disc golf and I see disc golf is coming to town, there's nothing here that attracts me to it. Now it doesn't say anything like family friendly. Come check out the bounce houses.
Bevel beer on tap.
No festival, no nothing. Sure. But what this does do is it appeals to maybe your average disc golfer,
fringe disc golfer,
your disc golfer who the guy who maybe goes out once every month. Or once every maybe 2 or 3 weeks. If you're in a league, you probably already know the Pro Tour is coming. You probably follow a little bit more seriously. This to me makes it feel like this is the guy who goes out once a month with his buddies and is like, really, professionals coming here to town? Okay. Is it a small percentage? Maybe. Or maybe the person who just moved to town who's a disc golfer is like, oh yeah, cool, this is coming to town. Oh, there's disc golf in Portland. I don't know, but I have no, again, my other complaint is... I'm
not throwing any shade because I'm not a designer.
No, neither am I.
Or a marketing guy.
Maybe just the June 4th through 7th in italics. That's the only thing I would look at and go, maybe I would change that. But maybe someone who knows more about,
billboard reading than you.
Billboard reading or design
Somebody
says, no,
does.
John, it should be in italics because X, Y, and Z. And I say, okay, that's it. I have that's a personal gut opinion. The fact that it says Powerball on it is a big deal, I think. I think that's really cool.
Add some validity, so to speak, and notoriety to us. Yes, because
I could see something cool would be on here. Maybe if you want to try to draw people in, and maybe it would make people laugh at us, but like winner brings home, have something
I
like
would just put prize purse.
The $100,000 prize purse.
100,000 plus.
Yeah.
Prize purse. And
you don't have to tell anybody how much.
No, not at all.
But I think that could maybe, if you're trying to drum up a little more excitement.
Yeah, I could see 100,000 plus. And there is definitely some very, I was going to say specific or specificity to when you look at this weekend's payout from this last weekend. Any chance you got to look at it?
Oh, from
this previous weekend? I happen to notice the number that was listed, and it is 1,000,000% intentional. That it said the prize purse. Do you want to guess? For starters, overall prize purse from this last weekend's OTB Elite Plus event,
$200,000.
Half that, $100,000, but it says specifically $100,003. And I guarantee you,
so you could say
somebody
100,000 plus.
Yeah, you could say that, or just somebody. If that came up at 99,987, and it was literally $15 short,
Sean Jack is $15 in there.
Right,
He's throwing it in there,
and they should.
Yeah,
they absolutely should. Let me be very clear. When I've run tournaments at the tiniest of scales compared to this, I even think about those things. I think I'll just make up some numbers. First place MPO gets $300, or let's just say $200. And second place is supposed to get 98. I'll be damned if I don't round that to 100 every time. Not just for simple rounding, but just from the optics of it. And I do that at a number or whatever the number is. It doesn't matter. If you can round up to that next higher number, obviously within some reason, I think the optics. So you could say, the top 5 all got, at least $100 or whatever that number is in any given scenario. I'm always very conscious of that. I hate seeing a payout that will say something like, and I know they already added to get there, but it'll say, we'll just say an FPO winner gets $4,922. Come up with $78 more to round it to 5,000. That's my take, and I can say that in a kind of jerkish way because they may have already added an extra $4,000 to even get it there to that number. I get that, but I think the optics of adding that extra money to get it over that next notable hump is worthwhile. Now you're going from 3,200 to 3,300. I don't really care, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's ideas on our board on other ways you could do billboards, which I'm sure there's 1,000 different ways. Someone said that they actually designed one in the past, and it's difficult because it's so wide.
Yeah.
But you could have, again, someone putting on one side to a basket on the other and all the information in the middle. Sure, there's a lot. There's a lot of great designs.
The last thing on the planet
but you and I
is to listen to our dumbasses talk about design, because there's few things that we are less qualified to talk about combined than any form of marketing or digital design. So I will recuse myself of any more.
And I'm just reading what's on the board. I'm not giving suggestions. Sure. Trust me.
Yeah.
You and
I see you with your Etch-a-Sketch out over here trying to come up with something. Nobody wants to see what you have. Anyway, Carney, I'm reading on the board. Carney says $1,000 costume contest would bring out the randos.
There you go.
Tim says, I've never done billboards. I imagine driving by, you'll see the photo. And Mike says, I did one a long time ago. It was just actually a convention sign we reuse. So, all right. Drawing power and legibility is the main thing you need to focus on. Ooh, look at that. What's it say? Yeah, I mean, I remember way back, but pre-COVID, which is very crucial to this, way back pre-COVID, in reading some marketing materials and or things or strategies by one Gary Vaynerchuk, who's I'm a big fan of. He was just talking about people misusing, quote unquote, misusing QR codes before they were popular, before anybody really had adopted them. And in one of the places he was talking about is it being on like a city bus, like on the outside of a city bus. And obviously buses stop and they slow down, but just the practicality of, hey, I'm trying to capture this thing that's on the move.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until COVID came along I don't know who gained more from COVID, if it was QR codes or disc golf, but QR codes certainly took on a whole nother level. And they're really quite genius. It just took a pandemic for us to realize. Any as you we just scrolled past one little piece. Any commentary? Did you see what Silva posted in one of her? She posted on her own social, and I think I can quote it. And I think it just said, "Shit happens."
Yeah.
It was. Is it awkward or weird when it's your own company that sponsors you? And should they hold back at all, or does that make you more endearing and real?
Oh no,
they
have to hold back a little bit. I mean, she's definitely not coming out and being like, I was not happy with those baskets this weekend or something like that. She would never say that. It's her sponsor.
I think Isaac Robinson, hole 4 at the Preserve on the Prodigy basket, that seemed to that seemed to get him one year.
Yeah, no, there's it. She's right. It happens. Like, that's just what it comes down to. I didn't see the putts that came out that she posted. It was a high putt coming in from low. She hit towards the top of the basket. Less give up there. It came right back out at her. Bad putt. Sorry. Like, if you're going to hit that high up, you can't hit with that much speed. You have to come lower or, whatever. And it happens. Like, yes, I'm sure if she really hated those baskets, she would not come out and say it. It's just life. That's her sponsor. She would not want to get on the bad side of her sponsor. I'm sure that there would be some conversation behind the scenes if something like that did happen. Like, you can
finish tongue lashing.
Maybe. So I don't know.
I'd like to hear that, just in general.
I don't know.
Just a finish by anyone. All right. I think we've covered all things that are actual news and or things.
I think we
now.
did. Yeah, I think we did, Terry.
We can talk about it more in the after show this weekend. Upcoming weekend is actually the Sandy Point Team Invitational, which totally threw me off because Memorial Day was technically so early, and hence I was thinking it was going to be the weekend of the.
So what are you?
I have nothing to do with it.
Me neither.
It was going on, a big event in northern Wisconsin.
Should we just show up, you and I, as a team? Like, hey, we want to play.
We can tag in for all those clutch putts that are needed.
That's
from
right.
62 feet.
That's right.
Nope, said no one ever. But yeah. All right. Well, we're going to call the regular show then. We got to thank you guys for joining us. When we come back, we can have an after show. I think I brought. Where did I?
You did. I
brought some goodies of things we're going to give along. I think we got a couple of extras weeks to make up for.
We have,
and I forgot to tell him.
You got like 3 weeks, yeah.
I forgot to tell him, but in I don't know what the word is. In honor, I guess, of Calvin, tonight's giveaway for tonight's show specifically will in fact be a Toro. It is a Samui stamped Star Toro. So the best of all best kinds that don't say Calvin on it, at least, the next best. But we'll give away a Samui stamped Star Toro tonight. And then I've got a couple other discs that we're going to give away because I think we have a couple weeks to make up for.
3.
So we're going to have many giveaways tonight. So, I mean, if you want to hear your name called potentially, how exciting, you could be right here for our after show. And looks like Christian is joining us from Hamburg, Germany. Just waking up. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning.
You're just in time for the after show. So we're going to call the regular show now, and we're going to take a very quick break right here on the SmashBoxxTV network. I think I'm going to call it. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll have the after show. We'll have more. It's been a couple of weeks since we had one, so we got questions we can answer, random odds and ends of things going on out there in the disc golf world or just in the non-disc golf world. We'll be here for it. We'll read your comments off the board, and then we'll have 3 total giveaways so we can give away some free stuff. I'm excited for it. So big shout out, Calvin Heimburg, your champ. congratulations to him over at the OTB Open, as well as your champ in Holland Hanley. Congrats to her as well for picking up another win here this season. For Johnny V, I'm the Disc Golf Guy. Big shout out. Thanks again, Calvin. We'll stand down. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have the after show. We'll see you then. You step inside the Smashbox.
Thank you to our $2 and above patrons. Your name is listed below in the credits. If you are interested in being listed as a producer in the Smashbox TV credits and supporting this and other fine podcasts, please visit patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Smashbox TV Podcast 609's After Show. Johnny rearranged studio, which he talked about briefly last week.
Yeah.
But this is my first time sitting here. We've got a slightly different configuration, and we're at an angle as opposed to being perfectly linear like we have been for the last 12 years.
I think it's easier.
So now there's a little more angle, and I got to look at you.
I know it's how we look at each other, and we can look at the camera.
But I don't know if that looks weird when we're.
Yeah, I think it depends on.
Sorry, is this my good side? I don't think so. Ugh.
Well, I can't have you angled the other way. I could, but
yeah, I should be looking off another direction. Yeah, so as we were closing out the regular show, I just wanted to quickly tell you, I'm going to tease these out a little bit tonight, that we've got some multiple giveaways to make up for the last couple of weekends. They're not quite fully themed, but mildly. So what I'll say is I've got a Star Toro with the Samui Disc Golf stamp on it. Coincidentally, looking to lock in the Samui Swine dates for next year. And starting that conversation. But anyways, we've got a Star Toro. So that'll be going out to tonight's, so to speak, winner from the show. I guess we're going to have three of them. We'll just determine which is which.
Yeah, we'll figure that part out.
Also have another Samui stamped disc. This one, though, this baby blue beauty, is a 158 diamond. So a little burst action, and it's a diamond. So I've got one of those. And then I have an MD3, and I think these were the same ones that good old Niklas Antila loves, and it's kind of hard to see with this exact lighting, but that's got my logo on it, and some swirly MD3s in the, I think it's the P line plastic. Feels like B or P-ish plastic, like it's more of a base level.
Stiff.
A little bit stiff. Love how it feels, though.
Yeah, feels good in my hand.
Of course it does.
I bet you this would hold.
Pretty much any line you put it on.
But I'm a little bit more experienced. Would it be good for a beginner?
Yeah, everybody and anyone in between. So, yes, I will say clearly I don't go out and even try a lot of new discs or any other disc these days because the few times I do play, I've got a bag and I'm not looking to improve. I'm just looking to play some Frisbee. However, just purely out of holding this, it really made me want to throw it. And then I always think like, other than a disc somehow going so much farther than previous discs do, I don't see a spot in my current care for disc golf when it comes to putting or approaching. Like the only thing I could truly see caring about right now is if a driver, some driver worked some magic for me.
On the other hand,
okay, on my left hand,
you don't really play too many tournaments.
Right.
What's the harm in just having new shit in your bag? Just to play.
It's not necessarily a harm. Yeah. I just don't want to. I don't see because I don't play.
Yeah,
I don't see a reason to like try and change. I don't think other discs are going to make me better.
No, I know.
Maybe that's why. Yeah. I don't think discs are going to make me better.
No,
it's
they're not.
It's a matter of if I execute that day or that given round or not. But the discs themselves, I don't know if they're going to make me any better or fly. I know how to throw a Frisbee. It's a matter of did I do it that day?
I agree.
Now, and that's where I say the only thing that as we're getting older, we talked about in the regular show.
Lighter discs, less stable.
Yeah, or if there's some wild technology that supposedly is actually working for it to go farther. I don't know. Call me silly. I definitely stuck in my old ways here, but
no, I'm with you. My bag hasn't
for all my disc
really
reviews,
changed.
please send me free discs too.
Yeah, my bag hasn't changed in many years practically. So
I will admit this weekend,
but I'll say this: when I do go to a tournament, which is like once, maybe twice a year, and if we do get a disc in the players pack, I try to get something different every time. And I might never use it. It might go right on the rack there. Because the way I look at it, like, okay, cool. Maybe I can pick up another buzz. I don't need another buzz.
Right.
Like, do I need?
You have
because
dozens.
I have dozens of buzzes.
Right.
And so if I go to let's just say there's a new Discraft disc. Unless it's like some sort of really cool buzz, like if it was the Buzzsaw buzz or something, I might pick one up just to have one. I'm gonna pick up let's say a Luna if I don't have one, or I'm going to pick up something different. That's why those Nerf discs kind of excite me. I was like, oh, that's cool. I don't have one. Do I need it for my bag? No. Do I need it for anything else? Not really. I'll grab, whatever Innova's newest driver is, or if the West Side sponsoring, I would grab something I've never thrown. I'd throw it a few times, probably not love it, and then it would go on my shelf because I'll probably fall back to something I'm comfortable with.
Right.
But I do like to get new, different plastic just because again, I don't need another Destroyer. I don't need another, Wraith or, that's why I picked up, I think the Grace I picked up at one point. I was like, oh, this is nice. And it's in my bag. Same with do I have it's not the River.
Might be.
No, it's not. But that's the one that stuck in my head. I've got something else. I've got an MVP disc in my bag now.
Right. Which are harder to get away from because they're everywhere these days.
And
I'm going to be buying some MVP custom stamp discs here very soon.
There you go. So,
and I fondle because I'm a disc golfer, so I fondle plenty of the discs when they're around and available. And then I look at them and I'm like, they look nice, they feel like they'd fly great, or they look great, whatever. And then I think, okay, well, do I need another disc like of that nature?
No.
Is there anything I'm trying to change? I don't feel like there's holes in my game. There's execution problems in my game. So
and if you were a better player, maybe you'd find more holes in your bag.
True.
But
very true.
But the quality of players we have, again, the last discs I bought were those Trash Panda discs.
Right.
Just because I thought they were cool. Are they going to make my bag? No, probably not. They'll probably go in the backyard and I'll putt with them. And,
speaking of putters, Conrad said that I am good with a blowfly. It was really funny this weekend. So, as discussed in the regular show,
you are probably good with a blowfly.
You play the main event with blowflies because the theory is that you're not going to hurt or wreck anything. You can still knock stuff over, of course. And there's certain areas within the OTB office that if you hit certain fixtures or things, you owe a beer, or you owe. Or you get strokes or penalized if you knock certain stuff off the wall in an area you shouldn't be throwing. But at one point on, I think it was Saturday night, I was about to leave, and because there's literally dozens of blowflies that are just scattered throughout everywhere. They're always in the building, and there were some outside, and I picked one up and I threw it in. I picked up another one and threw them. I didn't miss like 10 putts in a row from all over, and it was funny to throw these really floppy blowflies, especially considering my go-to putters are always
Super
very stiff and rigid and slick. A blowfly is the exact opposite, super floppy, very grippy. But it was a lot of fun to be able to throw those around a little bit this weekend. One of the big releases, I think, from this weekend was an OTB specific. I think it was a proton balance, of which I did get my hands on a couple of that I have available.
Balance, not a stasis,
nope.
That's what Eagle was promoting on the commercials.
The balance, and got my hands on some of those and a couple other really sweet discs throughout the weekend. So, with all that being said, I think if hey Dave, are you out there? From the Dyers Guild, I think Nate Doss, of all people, is looking to have another Whatnot, and I think it might be as soon as tomorrow night or the next night. I'll be helping host it whenever it is. We'll get you the details, but we're looking at doing a Whatnot here soon. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Looks like it might be tomorrow night. I'll get the post up. Doss and I had a brief conversation today. As many of you know, we're kind of rolling through his dad's collection. His dad passed away a couple of years ago. His dad was a vendor at De La Viega and also vendor/collector. So he bought a lot of stuff and obviously sold it right there on site. But then some of the stuff he bought, he was pretty meticulous about labeling, putting some details on. There's a lot of discs where it lets you, I'll just use an example. It's a 2007 Santa Cruz or something or other tournament stamped champion orc as an example. And then on the back of it, it'll say like new, there'll be a post-it and it'll say new. And it'll, instead of it saying 175, like it says on the disc, it'll say 174.3. He scaled it himself.
Because he scaled them himself?
He'd scale it himself.
Wow.
And then on some of them, on quite a few of those custom stamp ones, he'd put the winner, usually the MPO winner of that year on it.
Cool.
Now it's easier to go find via the internet on any given day, but it's always kind of cool to see these like hand markings that he'd put that on a Post-it note or write it on the bag and then stick that disc in a poly bag or in a Ziploc bag. So you're kind of getting a little history to go along with it, or at least kind of time and date stamp, but even more than the actual stamp that's on it. And I think that's kind of cool. So there'll be some used discs and there'll be some new discs. It's about 40 of them, and there'll be some giveaways. It'll be all on my Whatnot channel. But I'll bring in Nate Doss from out in Oregon. He'll ship them all from there, and they'll go out from there, and we'll have a couple hours to tell some stories and sell off part of that collection. Nate has a very finite set of discs that he wants to keep. Him and Val want to keep for themselves. A lot of these other ones just simply don't carry any personal sentimental value to him, in the sense that he's not going to do anything with a 2007 tournament stamped orc and wants to get it out there for the world to have it. So anyway, that is the plan for tomorrow. So another thing, Dave, I just had this idea live on the show here.
Ooh, always the best ideas.
Only the best in this case. Maybe Dave and I can put together some SmashBoxxTV patches. Dave helps make patches. Calvin's got a Disc Golf Guy patch on his bag. I think we need some SmashBox patches. So maybe we can...
be a good idea.
Yeah, we could produce those, and then maybe some of those could be part of our giveaways moving forward. Just some little, 2 or 3 inch Velcro patches. Everybody needs a SmashBoxxTV patch.
That's true.
I did hand some out this weekend, some stickers. Number of people approached me. Very kind words, at least that's what they said to my face. Some kind words. And some of those people, if I had them on me, I had a few stickers, both Disc Golf Guy and SmashBoxxTV stickers. So thank you to everyone that approached me or talked to me. I'm going to try to do my best to always try and carry some with me whenever I'm at events now. So if you see me out there on the course or run into me at some point, maybe I have some stickers for you. So I gave some of those away this weekend. Most people said they liked me better than you, but I didn't keep track of the exact ratio. I said, or the amount of people, and it obviously became a little bit of a running joke. Lots of very kind, gracious people say, oh my God, I'd say, yeah, me and Philor in the booth this afternoon. Oh, you're my favorite commentator. I'm like, you're just saying that because I'm standing in front of you. You said that to Perkins, 3 hours later, too.
That's right, as he's walking through.
But no, seriously, we do appreciate it.
That's great.
So,
should we start making up some Smashbox minis? Should we start printing some up? I got my printer all set up.
Why you're not, I don't know. Yes, get to it. Johnny V will start making. Johnny V has invested here in a 3D printer. Was that an A2?
It's an A1.
A1.
It's the A1. Yeah.
And
right over there.
You've been making some things. What's been the favorite thing that you've made with your 3D printer in the last couple of weeks?
So it's about 2 weeks old, and I have made. I went out to Maker World, and I created a bunch of different what I call collections for different projects that I want to do. And the number one biggest collection is my garage organization. So the thing that I made, my favorite tool that I own is my Makita track saw, because it is super accurate. And it lets me break down large pieces of plywood without having to try to get them onto a table saw, because I'm usually out there by myself. So I throw them on the ground on top of some insulation, and I'm able to very, very accurately cut with this track saw. But the problem is the track that I have is like 96 inches long. So it's crazy long. I can't even stand it up in my garage. And I needed a place to hang it. So I went on to Maker World, and there's a couple people that sell specific hangers for these track saws. And so I hung them on the inside of my garage door. I've got a really old wooden garage door, so I just literally screwed it into the garage door without a problem. And that's the best thing. I've just been making organizational stuff. I think I showed you when you came in. I've got a whole bunch of Ryobi tools. It's just the platform that I've always been on. You can say, if you're a tool snob, sure, say anything you want about them, whatever. But I printed out like a bunch of holders for the tool so I can slide them all in. I printed off, I built some shelves this weekend, or some cabinets. And I was like, oh crap, I don't have any shelf pins to put shelves up. And I was going to run to Menards, where they were like, you can get a pack for like $7. I was like, oh wait, or I could wait 4 to 6 hours and print off 12 of them. So that's what I did. And in fact, halfway through the print, because I knew I didn't have a lot of filament left, I ran out. So all of them are half and half colored. They're half white, half gray. So it's literally everything I've been doing has really just been functional, which is great. I printed up some little hooks to hang up the curtain in the shift, like the 2 J hooks that were printed from this. I haven't done anything of any significant fun or anything really that, I don't want to say useful, because all the things I printed up are useful. It hasn't been anything crazy. So I think that just the tool holders that I've created are my favorite things, because I'm reorganizing my garage, and it was a disaster area, and now it is so much better. I just have to literally find some place for some wood that's on the garage floor right now. But I'm looking forward to being able to use it for a bunch of other things. I've got a whole collection just for stuff in the studio, whether it's little cup holders or cable management or anything. I've got a collection for stuff around the house that I want to start printing up. So I have no, I'm trying to think, business plan for this. It's just a fun toy for me and probably my son to be able to use. We'll see what comes of it. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't even dug into anything disc golf related. I was thinking, is there anything my cart needs? Because I've got a ridge roller. Is there anything my cart needs? I've already got an umbrella holder. So I don't
Make
really...
an umbrella.
This is a giant umbrella. Like, yeah, this is my 3D printed umbrella. As I'm sitting there assembling it because it's or it's just a tiny umbrella, like a little one. Yeah, I don't know if anyone has any good ideas on things I should print up, or like the most popular things online right now are like little knickknacks and fidget toys. I don't need anything like that.
No,
because one, I'm guilty of loving to play with them. My wife brought home a fidget like this. It kind of looks like basically it's not a hexagon. It's got a bunch more sides than that. It's probably got like 15 sides.
Dodecagon?
Something like that. And it's just a whole bunch of them. Each one's smaller than the rest with a little pole in the middle. You pick it up and it goes...
Sure,
and you can just spin it, and it's just a fidget toy. And she left it next to me, and so we'll
you
be watching.
Fidgeted.
I fidget.
Fidgeters are gonna fidget.
I tend to be a fidgeter, and so I think it annoys her, but now she can't take it away from me because it sits by my little spot where I sit upstairs, and I play with it just when I get bored. But if there's anything interesting, then
I wonder what the. And I'm sure whether it's a tutorial and or it's certain pages you go to, I wonder what are the like must makes when it comes to 3D printing of. There's got to be a list that everyone like kind of goes through, and I guess I liken it in some way. So like the first label you make when you get your new label maker is the label that says like Terry's Label Maker to put on the label to put on the actual label maker, right? Like that's what you have to do. I could see something like that, but. Yeah, the only thing I think about
a phone holder for my cart. That
it's so funny how I think about things that I could maybe need, and then I think, wait, no, like a very obvious. There's already a very obvious solution, and my best example for that right now is next to my on my nightstand. I have a charger for my phone / watch, a dual charger that does that, and then I have my CPAP machine, and I just wish they weren't like. I wish there was another level. Right. And then I think, well, do I just want a tiny little stand so that the phone holder can sit on top and be like a little U-shaped stand that goes over the top of my CPAP machine, or which I guess are very popular. Like you could literally have a little piece of wood or a stand that comes out of the side of your bed where it's like a shelf, like in between. You could print a shelf. Or you could buy like a $2 piece of wood or something and just put it in between there. But I think, I don't know, would it be cooler to print the shelf?
I've got things.
Print a flat piece of plastic?
I've got my car is an Ioniq 5. It's an EV car. And I did a search in that. There's a few things, and I need to get different plastic because the heat of a car, the PLA, the basic stuff that I got will melt in the heat of a car. So I'm going to order some, I think it's PET G is the non-melty stuff. There's a bunch of different things, but this one can only print like 2 or 3 different filaments because the other ones need to have like heated enclosures or whatever. Yep. So I just want, again, I'm a functional person. I don't care about colors. I don't care about whatever. So
style.
Yeah, but I think I'm going to print up like a little trash can that fits perfectly in the center of my car. There's, a little cup adapter that can go, because the adapter the cup can only go so small. So if you have like a bottle, it can rattle around a little. Bull crap like that I think is just like, oh, this is kind of cool. I might print this out.
Yeah, and one of the most exciting things I've looked at on some of those pages that are practical for me are ways to hold or mount a phone in a plane.
Oh, sure.
Because there's nothing I hate more, and I pretty much refuse to do it, which is if I'm watching on my phone, or I want to watch something on my phone, is to be looking down the whole time when you're, obviously you can put it on or either holding it or even propping it on the little tray in a airplane. So, and I've used various tripods and various mounts, some things that go to the back of the seat. There's different things, but that to me is always the most appealing thing because I fly so much. Yeah. And so having a practical, small phone holder of some sort that mounts to various types of backs of airplanes. Those are the things that excite me the most. But it feels funny. I'm going to go buy a $500 printer so I can make a $3 phone holder.
Yeah. Dyer's Guild says flexible dragon. It's like the hot popular thing you're printing up right now, and it's I know I will never print one of those. I don't need it.
Fun.
on the board. Conrad says that, I do cabinetry. I'm interested now. You can do things like print off knobs to cabinets. Cabinet knob. You can print. I printed up a bunch of. I'm going to print up a sandpaper holder that has like the grits listed around there, because right now my sandpaper is disaster. I open a drawer and it's just everywhere. So I'm like pulling them apart, looking for the right grit that I need. Just printing off one that has all the different levels. Like, oh, look, I need an 80 grit sandpaper. I need a 220, whatever that is. It's those type of things that just for organizational purposes, I might, and this is the rabbit hole I don't want to say I'm avoiding. Gridfinity. Have you seen or heard?
I don't think so.
It is its own subculture, Gridfinity. It is probably probably the biggest thing that people print with these 3D printers if you're looking for organization.
Okay.
It's more or less just a square, I think maybe it's 32 millimeter by 32 millimeter grid that you can build all these little boxes for, or compartments that like you can take a picture. There's 1,000 different websites. Take a picture of a tool and it will automatically outline it. So then your tool has a perfect spot for it to go into.
Okay.
You can multiple layer of these things. I need something to organize all my screws. So that might be what I'm doing, or just like different tools. I was saying I've got a bunch of, for my jigsaw. I've got like 6 or 7 just jigsaw blades that I'm like, okay, well, where do I put these? I can put them in a drawer, but eventually they're going to slide to the back of the drawer. I need some place that's going to easily have access to them, that I know where it's going to go. So I'm going to start to kind of look into that and maybe do a few drawers for this Gridfinity thing, just for organizational purposes. I don't know. Dyer's Guild jigs, exactly. Special corner jigs. Anything you can imagine. If you want to route out a specific type of hole, you can create a jig for that. All that stuff, and it's. Yeah, toolbox separators for wrenches in the toolbox would be nice, Tim. Yeah, there's I've got a bunch of different router bits, different sizes, and right now they were in kind of a cabinet just falling all over. They make these different, I could label all of the ones I have and put them in the right, exact with the right collet size and everything. I'm going to be an organizational nerd for probably the next 3 months while I reorganize my garage and I get everything exactly the way I want it. And then I'm sure I'll mess it up again, because that's what I do. It's just after whatever, because I'm in the middle of building a media center for my basement. So I've got the whole cabinet built. It's about the 90-inch media center. And I was just literally waiting today. I think it was delivered, some more edge banding for the doors, so I can start cutting out the doors. And then I'll make sure I get the right hinges, and then it'll be done. Because I actually have to stain it. But, anyway, it's those type of things. Do I print off some handles for it, or do I just buy like the $3 handles I want to get?
That's just it. Yeah.
It's the thing is, it's super customizable though.
Right.
If I want a specific thing, I just have to order. So now I'm looking into different filaments, and everything's out of stock right now. So I'm trying to find things that are in stock. I don't know if it's I truly don't know if it's like, I've heard rumors that it's like has to do with like the Iran war, because it's oil and plastic and this and that. So petroleum, like some of the places are kind of running low on stock, but hopefully that they're going to be restocked. And again, not getting political, just that might be a cascading effect of things. So I'm going to be playing around. But again, if there's something that I should be printing, let me know.
Yeah.
And then I have to start digging into like going down the rabbit hole of like filament storage, dehumidifiers for them, all this.
Oh yeah,
all this. I don't need it. That's just it. I don't want
I can
it.
Sell it to you all.
I don't.
Just make sure you use my Amazon referral code when you want to buy stuff.
I don't need any of that stuff. I literally just want. I can't even almost imagine printing more than 2 colors ever, and I've got this thing that can do up to 4 colors. Yeah, maybe.
As Dave says, print things for your printer. Exactly.
I did, Dave. I literally printed an organizational for the AMS to make it mount on top of the printer. That was probably one of the first things I printed, other than, a Benchy, was this thing that lets me put the AMS on top of the A1. And it was like a 6 to 7 hour print. And then I popped them all off and I screwed it all together. And now my the thing that holds all the filaments, called the AMS, doesn't sit next to the printer. It sits on top of it. So because it takes up less space. Everything
stacks
is
on stacks.
stacks on stacks.
I think is what they say.
MD Aviator says, my studio would stress you out, JVD. Trust me, I'm not over here saying I'm the most organized person in the world, because I'm not. Like, I get into fits where suddenly, like, my garage was a disaster a month ago. And finally I tore it all apart. I moved the garbage can from the back of the garage to the side of the garage, to the inside to the side, and I moved the cabinet last fall, and now I moved all the upper cabinets. I built some because it was a disaster, and I'll have it really organized until I do the next big project, when I'll pull something out like my speed square, and then I'll set it somewhere, and then I have a tendency to lose tape measures. I have 2 of them, one that has freedom units and metric, and the other that just is a regular, inches, whatever, freedom units, as they jokingly call them. I swear I set it down and I can't ever find it. And then I'll find it a week later. I'm like, why did I put it here? Like, why was it in this drawer? Or why did I leave it in the house, of all places? I found it in the basement because I set it on the couch in the basement after I measured where the media center was to be. I set it down and I walked away.
Like you need a holster for it.
I can't clip it to my belt, and I still don't. I'm just an idiot. That's what I am. It's what it comes down to.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you
so
don't have to tell me.
I just, anyway, it's, I don't know what I'm going to do, Terry. I haven't even done a search for disc golf. It is fun to go to the Maker World thing and just look, literally search for a word.
Yeah,
I was just thinking,
what I was doing.
My wife was talking about watering the garden, and I was like, hose.
There's some hose in
this house. There's some hose. I was thinking,
hose management.
Yeah, there's these different hose.
Think about that.
There's some different things about some hose management.
Maybe not.
But so I just literally searching a word and then seeing the rabbit hole it drags you down for things that you can print that you never knew that you needed, but you really don't need. But you're going to say like, oh, maybe I do need that. So.
Okay.
Zuka prints for days, says Bust Swan.
Yeah, I think about that too, and then I don't have a Zuka, I don't use a cart, but clearly, just it feels like there's a million accessories. But like you said, when you have a umbrella holder, maybe some kind of like putter pouch or holder, I think about maybe like Jen Allen, I often see, and others obviously have a phone holder of some sort. Yeah. I think. Do some people print wheels or some form of wheel or not? I don't know.
Maybe, but I mean, my cart has spots for water. It has an umbrella holder. I could see printing off or getting like a phone holder for it, but there is a little slot on the side for phones, for a phone that, on the side of it, if I want to put it in there. I don't know. Just, I could see maybe like, if I really wanted to get anal, like a disc divider in there. Like, oh, my drivers are on here, my putters are here, because my bag has never been organized. As long as the discs all kind of face the same direction, that's usually good. It's good for me. But this is the slot for my Grace. My Grace is always in this slot.
Graceful slot.
So yeah, everything's been 3D printing or woodworking for me lately. I'm really looking forward to being done with this media center, so then I can build the upper cabinet that goes next to it. It'll go up to the ceiling, and then I'll be done with that project. So I don't know what I'm going to do after that. Maybe a dresser for my kids' room. So.
Oh, you're not going to print that?
No, that would be difficult. I'd need a big printer for that.
Or a lot of. I saw someone just yesterday that made their own suitcase, their own travel-on, and it was intentionally printed in different sections, the way it was designed, and then obviously it assembles at some point, but it's actually just a travel-size suitcase, and then did a bunch of different things with the various compartments to individualize them, whether it was to put one had a little case where you'd put the air tag, or a little hidden spot where you could put an air tag. And another one had a spot where then there was a fold out cup holder, and all these different things to kind of assemble their own. I guess I wonder about the overall durability of something like that. But anyway. All right. Well, I think one of the things we can do is
I think we do a giveaway.
We can do some giveaways.
All
and
right.
I will remind you of some of the givvies, as they say over on the whatnots. But some of the givvies, the 3 givvies tonight include maybe the first one that we do tonight will ultimately be for a Star Toro. We can also then do one for a Burst Diamond, and then we can do one for a Swirl MD3. Yeah, that we'll be able to do. So we'll have 3 giveaways tonight for spanning the last few weeks.
All right, if you want to be eligible for our giveaways, you can go to patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV, or you can go to SmashBoxx.tv/weekly giveaways, where you can sign up for free, because legally we have to allow that.
Right.
So otherwise,
no purchase necessary. When you always heard that at some
self-addressed
point
stamp
somewhere,
envelope.
Yep. SASE. No purchase necessary. You always wondered what in the world, how and what, huh? That's exactly it. With regards to certain giveaways and raffles and blah, 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 there's some stipulations. And of course, we follow those.
We are to the letter of the law.
Unlike some others, probably.
Unlike some others that, you can't use your Patreon or your membership as just a giveaway thing. They don't like that. So, SmashBoxx.tv/weekly giveaways. But we have 93 people eligible for our giveaways this week. We haven't promoted it hardly at all, so there weren't a lot of people in there. There were 2, but I moved them into our weekly giveaway list. Terry Miller, we have 3 things to give away tonight. Let's start generating some numbers. What's the first number? Or how should we generate the first number?
I think we click it. Kelvin has talked about getting 2 wins, and 2 is his limit. Technically, he has 2 wins this year, so I think the second number is what you draw.
Okay. Our first number is 54. Our second number is 89.
89. He's winning the Toro. And if I can, I'll even maybe try and make a note of it.
89
Somehow this one didn't sell over in Asia, so I think that's where I had it.
Am I reading that right? There's no way I'm reading that right.
No way.
There's no way I'm reading that right.
Oh, no, and he's listening. Holy cow.
Tim Courts.
Tim
Courts.
Sweet.
I sorted it by first name. So Tim Courts, 89.
Way near the bottom.
All right. Tim
congrats.
Courts. Oh, way to go, Tim. Is that? It can't be the first time he's won.
No, he's won before.
Yeah.
But congrats. I just love it. The fact that Tim is actually live and on the board. Here's what I'll do for you, Tim. Because you're live and because you're such a dedicated Smashy, I'm going to give you the option, because you can tell us right now. I will actually give you the option as to whether or not you would like the 159 or 155, 156. I don't know. It's in the 150s. It's a diamond. I think that's I got to get it just right. 156 Burst Diamond. Or would you like the MD3 that I think is close to max weight, 180? Or would you like the Toro? You are welcome to pick which. The Toro was the default, but since you're first and you're here, I'm giving you the option. And
Ed says the Toro's the right answer, but let's see what Tim says.
Well, just to confirm, Tim, let me know. This was the default option that I was going to do, and since you're here, I'm giving you the option. Tim says Toro.
Tim says the Toro.
The
All right.
Toro is not available to anyone else tonight. If you would like to purchase one, reach out to me. And soon, as a quick side note, I'm going to be actually grabbing a few discs, including maybe one or two of the Balance from this weekend, and a number of other, literally like a dozen-ish discs, and then putting them on my site under thediscgolfguy.com. I'm not populating that in a serious, like, major shopping cart system of like thousands of discs, but I'm going to continue to put maybe a few dozen on from time to time. I might put up a few of the Nerf discs, just whatever kind of strikes my fancy.
All right, sounds good, Terry.
So anyway.
All right, let's do our second giveaway for the night.
If they're here in live, and it can't be you, Tim, if they're here in live and they, I'll let them choose. Otherwise, the default is the Burst Diamond.
All right, I'm going to hit the generate. It's going to be the very next number.
Okay.
8.
Oh, opposite end.
We
so to
dropped
speak.
the 9 and went from 89 just to 8. So let me scroll up. That would be Bart Welsh.
Bart.
Yep, Bart
Bart,
Welsh.
if you're listening live, pipe up now.
Yep.
And tell me if you want the diamond or if you would like to see what's behind door number 3 and go to the MD3.
Bart Welsh.
But if we don't hear from you in the next minute or so, it's going to be assumed that you are getting the burst diamond. Thank you, Bart.
Awesome.
Probably not listening live. We got thousands of people that download and listen to the podcast after the fact. A few people have said they enjoy us cross country.
We have heard that.
A few more said that recently. So
We're fans. Long haul truckers, our biggest demographic.
Right. All right. If Bart is not, so let's go ahead. My address is the same. Good to know, Tim. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Then the default is this nice purplish white swirl MD3.
All right. We're going to do the very next number.
I kind of want to go outside and throw it.
I mean, we can.
Game used.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to grab another one and I'm going to try and throw it if I play in a league tomorrow night because I just really want to throw one.
All right. And
All right.
let's hit generate number.
Generate.
68. All of our numbers had 8 in them.
Dang.
So 68. 68 is, let me scroll down.
Let's see who we got tonight. Looks like a new name. I love it.
Mike Makorski.
Makarski? Is that an R?
M-O-C-A-R.
Makarski, probably.
Mokarski.
Okay.
Mike Mokarski.
Nice. Mike, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike.
And Mike, I don't recall sending anything to you anytime recently.
But you've been a Patreon supporter for a long time.
A long
So thank
time.
you very much for being a Patreon supporter, Mike.
Well overdue.
Yeah. We're going to get that out to you. I'm going to make sure to mark this.
Super.
Oop.
Yeah, if you could, when you send me the note, Mike getting the MD3 should be easy to remember.
I'll try to remember that.
And Bart with the burst. I mean, I should be able to remember this.
One would think, but
Smart. Bart with the burst and
he's already forgotten.
Mark or Mike? I'm sorry.
Mike
with the MD3.
All right.
Sweet. All right. Is there anything else out on the board that you guys?
I went to go see a movie. I went to go see The Mandalorian and Grogu. It was okay. It was. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just kind of blah. I would say it was just okay. It was a decent theater experience. So that was okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I've done. I don't think there is. So I will say that I watched Ezra Robinson's most recent video.
Okay.
He went around to everybody at OTB and he asked them their favorite movie.
Okay.
And then he watched it that night. He did 8 in a row. 8 nights in a row. So he watched. I'll see how.
Wow.
Yeah, he's like, it was just him and Isaac. Oh no, I think he was at the Airbnb with like Gavin and whatever. So he watched like Avengers: Infinity War, The Prestige. I think he said it was his favorite one, which is a movie about magic. It's a Christopher Nolan movie. The Lion King. That's what Kelvin had said. The Lion King was his favorite movie. Kelvin's like, I'm not a big movie guy, but Lion King, and so he watched The Lion King. Sullivan Tipton.
Okay.
What do you think his movie was, Terry?
Rudy.
No.
Oh.
Good Will Hunting.
Oh. Very
So
cool.
he
Very
watched.
cool. Favorite of ours.
Yeah, he had. And Ezra had said he'd never seen Good Will Hunting before. So he ranked it right under The Prestige.
He's young.
Yes.
He's younger than we are. So
yes, definitely.
That
but
came out when like our freshman year.
But it put a smile on my face. That it was Sully that mentioned that. Like, oh, cool, good. Maybe Sully's got good taste in movies.
This is a Harvard bar.
Yeah. And shout out. Hopefully Sully's feeling better. I know he had some massive food poisoning. He was in the hospital, but I think hopefully things are looking up for him.
Not
throwing up. I know. How do you like them apples?
Yeah. Was there a Saturday Night Live skit I think recently that played into Matt Damon and Good Will Hunting, and it came across my feed. And I think it was semi-recent because I think he hosted
maybe he just hosted.
Yeah, and there was a skit that played into the whole him being a janitor figuring out the equation.
I'll have to look. I watched. I think I watched most of that episode. Maybe I fell asleep.
Yeah, it was. Of course, I got a kick out of it.
Of course. Yeah. I know. I remember watching his monologue at the beginning, and he was saying he's like, it's the third time I've hosted. Seems kind of low, doesn't it?
Which is kind of funny.
Because he's been around for 20 plus years, and he's done all these phenomenal movies, and he's really there promoting The Odyssey, which is coming out probably in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Another Christopher Nolan movie. But he was like, seems kind of low, huh?
Because the few skits I did see, he's damn good. Obviously, he's a good actor.
He's so funny. He's such a great actor.
He is good as an actor, in my opinion. So, yeah.
But in general, he's good on Saturday Night Live. So,
yeah. Huh. Sweet.
But,
I guess that's about it. Yeah. I don't know if I have too much in terms of the excitement. I'm excited to, like I said, get some orders in to make some custom stamp orders for some Frisbees from a couple different manufacturers. They all feel good in the hand. They all
the ones that you get.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like I've held other people's Frisbees. They don't feel good in the hand.
I know I've really talked up OTB tonight, but my Frisbees fly better. I mean, than the ones they sell. That's obvious.
Yeah.
You know, and I know Flight Factory sponsors Calvin. Mine.
No.
If they came from me,
I've thrown other discs and they don't hold the line I throw them on.
And
it might be me, but
to that point, I have shipped out actually quite a few sets of boxes today. If you're in the market for ever shipping boxes, shipping discs to people, and you want to ship them in a box, you know who to reach out to. I'm more than happy to help out, boxes and bags. And if you need any dyeing supplies, our guy Dave over at the Dyers Guild can help you out as well. And if you need me to point you to where that is,
or if you need a disc hive.
And a disc hive, exactly, we can help you out. So get in touch with me or find Dave over at the Dyers Guild. I'm going to go over to the Dyers Guild right now and see if he'll print me some stuff.
Oh.
He's a little quicker than you are. Beep, 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 beep. It just spits out.
I don't think it's that quick, but...
Oh, it's pretty quick. Make sure you tune into the Whatnot if somehow you're hearing this in time. That also means that within a week or so, I'll probably be doing a Whatnot of my goodies. The one with Nate Doss will have Nate Doss's collection and his father's collection. The next one that I do in probably a week or so will be from my collection. I got some goodies to help you out with. And even there's some links there if you are in need of the disc hive or anything else out there in the chat right now. All right, that's been podcast 609. Thank you guys for joining us. A heck of a weekend out in Stockton, California for the incredible show that the OTB Open put on. So appreciate everyone out there doing their thing. And enjoy this weekend, whatever you're doing, probably graduation party or two, whatever that might look like. And the week after that, we'll, of course, then be talking about the Northwest Challenge, whatever, Northwest Championship, whatever it's called. I don't know. It's another Elite Plus event. Portland. For Johnny V, I'm the Disc Golf Guy. Thanks to Calvin and the regular show. We'll see you next week for episode 610. You step inside the Smashbox.